If you could, please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, Cam. Could we have a sunshine announcement, please?
Yes, good evening, Chairman. Today is Tuesday, March 24th in the year 2026. This is a Jersey City Planning Board meeting with a scheduled 5:30 p.m. start time. And in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting has been given to the editor of the Bergen Record, El Espelito, and posted with the city clerk on March 20th of this year. This meeting was also posted on the Jersey City Division of City Planning webpage, and all distribution materials made available to the board were published and made available to the public.
Okay, thank you. Could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Acting Vice Chair Gungadin.
Here.
Commissioner Wick.
Here.
Commissioner Stamato.
Here.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Present.
Commissioner Patel. And Chairman Langston.
Here.
All right, we have 6 commissioners present. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Could we swear in the staff, please, Mike?
I see Tanya, Matt, Joe, Sophia, Ben, Cam. Do you guys want any testimony you get tonight? It's going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Do we have any correspondence, Cam?
Yes, Chairman, quite a lot actually, so
Okay.
bear with me.
I'm here all night, so.
Yeah, same here. All right, so under new business item, item 24, actually. So starting with item 24, this is case P 2025-0166. This is a minor site plan with C variances at address 186 Terrace Avenue, and they are carrying with preservation of notice to a very special meeting on March 31st of 2026. Yeah, so and then the next case is item 25, case P 2024-0212. This is a preliminary and final major site plan. Address is 792 Communipal Avenue. They are also carrying with preservation of notice to a special meeting on March 31st of 2026. Item 26, the next case, case P 2025-0032. This is a preliminary and final major site plan with C variances. Address is 662 Communipal Avenue, and they've requested to carry with preservation of notice to April 28th. Item 27, this is case P 2025-0087. This is a minor subdivision with C variances. Address is 141 Oxford Avenue. They've requested to carry with preservation of notice to May 12th. Item 29 and 30 are tied to one another, associated with address 183 Bayview Avenue, case P 2025-0226, and case P 2025-0258. This is for a preliminary and final major site plan and a minor subdivision with C variances. They're re-noticing for the special meeting on March 31st.
They're re-noticing for the 31st?
You're going to carry?
Carry with preservation of notice. We don't have to renotice that
Okay, we are.
until March 31st.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Okay, so
Counsel.
scratch that. Item 29, case P 2025-0226. This is a preliminary and final major site plan. Address is 183 Bayview. They are requesting to carry with preservation of notice to March 31st, a special meeting occurring next week. Item 30, case P 2025-0258. This is for a minor subdivision with C variances. Address is 183 to 193 Bayview Avenue. They are requesting to carry with preservation of notice to March 31st of this year. And again, that is a special meeting happening next week on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. All right, 4 more. Okay, item 31. Case P 2025-0196. This is a minor site plan with C variance. Address is 7 Orchard Street. They're requesting to carry with preservation of notice to May 12th. Item 32, case P 2025-0190. This is a minor site plan with C variances. Address is 311 3rd Street. They've requested to carry with preservation of notice to May 12th. All right, last two cases. Item 33, case P 2025-0191. This is a minor site plan at 44 Cole Street. They've requested to carry with preservation of notice to May 12th. And lastly, item 34, case P 2025-0176. This is a preliminary and final major site plan. Address is 723 Grand Street. They've requested to carry with preservation of notice to May 12th of this year. Yes. So that concludes correspondence, Chairman.
Okay.
And we have marked into evidence the sunshine announcement as B1.
Okay, thank you, Ken.
Thanks.
So anybody that's here from the public, if you're here for one of those cases, if you heard an address that you're here to talk about tonight, you will not receive new notice. Okay, so we've just carried those with preservation of notice. That means new notice will not go out. This is your notice tonight. Okay, so let's get into, before we get into old business, I do want to jump ahead real quick. I'm going to call item 14 as case P2025-0129 is a preliminary and final major site plan with variances for 2859 to 2873 Kennedy Boulevard.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you for being here this evening.
Good evening, Council. Is that mic on?
no,
Can you
it's
just
not.
tap that? There's a, not on enough.
Good evening. Don Pepe from Scrinsy Hollenbeck on behalf of the applicant. So a rather late issue came up. I'll call it an 11th hour issue regarding the status of a redeveloper agreement. I don't want that issue to cloud the board's considerations, so I respectfully request that the application be carried to the 14th so that I have an opportunity to address that issue more thoroughly. I'd hate to waste the board's time with an hour and a half of expert testimony just to come down to having that issue stand in our way.
Okay, thank you, Council. We appreciate that. So we're going to carry that item to a date certain, April 14th, with preservation of notice. Once again, if you're here for that item tonight, this is your notice. You will not receive new notice. Cam, first thing on the 14th, let's get that out of the way under old business. First item up.
Yes, Chairman.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Council. Okay, so under old business, item A is case P2025-0248, is a one-year extension for 364 6th Street. Good evening, Council.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the record, Tom Lean from Connell Foley. Though we do not require notice for extensions, I did because there were deviations and variances that went with the original approval.
Okay, so we'll mark that notice A1.
Okay. So this is a property located at 364 6th Street. It is located in the Enos Jones redevelopment plan area. Back in December of 2024, the board granted site plan approvals for a 7-story building containing 17 units and 7 parking spaces. The owners of the property are longtime holders of the property. There was some question whether they were actually going to move forward with the development. They are now intending to do so. There's a requirement that you become the redeveloper of the property through the JCRA. They have requested a questionnaire, and we plan on filing the application so that they can move forward. Obviously, we're here before the board just asking for a year, so we can complete that and they can start getting permits for the project.
Okay, thank you, Council.
And just for timing, this would go from December 14th of 2025 to December 14th of this year.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, anybody?
No.
Okay, is there anybody here from the public that wants to comment on this application? Anyone from public?
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Public is closed. Matt, do you have anything you want to add?
Staff-
Obviously, one condition.
Staff recommends approval with that all past conditions remain in full force and effect.
Okay, and council will add the condition that, you understand that the variances, any conditions and the variances are still in place from the last application.
That's acceptable.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion then.
Chair would like to make a motion to approve case B 2025-0248 as presented to the board with staff recommendations and conditions.
Second it.
Okay, motion made and seconded for approval.
Motion to approve, Acting Vice Chair Gongadin,
Aye.
Commissioner Wick,
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
and Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's call item B is case P 2026-0016. This is a site plan extension for 2 6th Street, also known as 16 to 60 6th Street. Good evening, council.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Eric McCullough from the law firm Waters, McPherson, McNeil. I'm appearing tonight on behalf of Newport Associates Development Company. They are the owners of property currently identified as 16 to 60 6th Street and 108 6th Street, also known as Block 7302, lots 5501 and 5502. The property is within the Newport redevelopment area between Washington Boulevard and the Hudson River. In 2022, this board approved preliminary major site plan approval for a 6-building mixed-use residential complex with 1,723 units spread out in 6 buildings with an ancillary retail space, on-site parking, and on-site bicycle parking. The application was approved and memorialized on April 6, 2022. Last year, I was here requesting our first one-year extension, which was approved by resolution adopted in April 2025. I'm here tonight to respectfully request a second extension of the preliminary site plan approval pursuant to NJSA 40:55D-49C. The purpose of this is to allow the owner of the property, which has held the property for years, as well as adjacent properties, to continue to evaluate the project before going to final major site plan application, which the intention is that that will be filed once that review is complete. And we would diligently pursue that final site plan approval. So I respectfully request on behalf of the owner/applicant that the extension for the second one-year extension be approved. This would run from April 6, 2026 through April 6, 2027. And of course, all conditions contained in the original approval would be carried over into the extension.
Okay, thank you, council. Any questions? Anyone? No. Okay, is there anybody here from the public that wants to comment? Anyone from public?
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Public is closed. Sophia, do you have anything you want to add?
Staff recommends approval with conditions of the original approval to remain in effect.
Okay, thank you.
Chair would like to make a motion to approve case B 2026-0016 as presented to the board with staff recommendations and conditions.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion and a second for approval.
On a motion to approve, Acting Vice Chair Gongadin,
Aye.
Commissioner Wick,
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
and Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Thank you.
council.
Good evening.
Well, let's move on to item C, is case P 2026-0015, is a site plan extension for 344 2nd Street. Good evening, council.
Good evening, everyone. Michael Higgins of the firm Castano Quigley Cerami for the applicant. This is a one-year extension. These approvals are set to expire April 2nd of this year. We're requesting an extension until April 2nd, 2027. The applicant is about ready to file for permits. They're still working out some details on the civil plans. They arguably thought they could make the cutoff, but I think with a little bit more time, they'll file.
Okay, thank you, council. Any questions? Anyone?
No.
No.
All right, is there anybody here from public that wants to comment? Anyone from public?
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
All right, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Ben, do you have anything you want to add?
Staff recommends approval so long as the previous conditions from the previous approval remain in full force and effect.
That's fine.
Great.
Okay.
Staff recommends approval.
All right,
Chair would
thank
like to make a motion to approve case P 2026-0015 as presented to the board with staff recommendations and conditions.
you. All right, motion is made and seconded for approval.
All right. On a motion to approve, Vice Chair Gongadin,
Aye.
Commissioner Wick,
Aye.
Commissioner Stabato,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel, Chair Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries. All in favor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Council. Cam, that's really all the old business we have?
Yes, Chairman,
Look at us.
surprisingly. I
All
know.
right. All right, so let's move on to new business. We will call, where am I? Item 9 is case P2025-0227, is a site plan amendment for 39 Regent Street. Good evening, Council.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is John Nance on behalf of the applicant, Liberty Harbor Holding LLC. The property here is located at 39 Regent Street. That's block 14001, lot 1. It's located within the Liberty Harbor North redevelopment area. This is an application for an amendment to preliminary and final major site plan approval. We uploaded proof of mailed notice and publication. I have the original.
I've reviewed the notice and it appears to be in order.
Okay, thank you, Council. So we're going to mark notice A1.
Thank you. We're excited to be making this application, which seeks board approval of a public park within Phase 1 of the Liberty Harbor North redevelopment area. The park that's envisioned by this application is in full compliance with the redevelopment plan. The site contains approximately 14,756 square feet. As you'll hear from the professionals, the park is designed to be a flexible, multi-purpose public space for the benefit of the residents of the neighborhood and of the city and of their pets. It includes 3 components: a dog run, a children's play area, and a pedestrian public plaza. We have with us tonight, we have Mr. Carmen, who'll give a landscape engineering presentation, and Chris Bedarski to address the civil engineering aspects.
Good evening. Good evening. You swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. For the record, can you state- spell your name? Sure. Thomas S. Carman, C-A-R-M-A-N.
Mr. Carmen, good evening. Always a pleasure. Your license is current in the state of New Jersey?
It is, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified.
Great. This evening, well, good to see everybody. This evening, I will take you through, I have 12 exhibits within this, this slide deck. This is a package that was put together based on the civil engineering plans and the landscape plans that were submitted to
Okay,
the board.
So
Yeah,
it's,
let me address this. So this was not part of the original submission. It's illustrative because it'll give give a better idea of what the experience of the park is like. So perhaps we should mark this 12-slide deck as Exhibit A2.
please, and that was prepared on February 10th?
It was, yes.
Okay, so we're going to mark that A2, 12-slide deck. And please, if you could, Mr. Carmen, forward that over to planning tomorrow.
I will. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So the first image that I'm showing here, this is the existing condition. So this is an aerial. At the bottom of the sheet is the New Jersey Transit light rail, and towards the top at an angle is Regent Street. On plan right-hand side is Liberty View Drive, and then River Street on the left-hand side. And what we can see here is a children's play area on the western or the left side, a dog run on the eastern side, which is like a pea gravel material, and then a open lawn area that is actually fenced off today. So the improvements that we're proposing are enhancements to the existing space. The existing streetscape along Regent as well as along Liberty View Drive are installed with the city standard colored concrete, street trees, and street lights. Within the park itself, where the existing children's play area is, we're enhancing that. We're improving it with new synthetic turf, a new shade canopy, as well as a tubular aluminum fence around there with some planters to create a separation to the streetscape. Additionally, the dog run, which is on the right-hand side, that is now still going to be two separate dog runs, one for large breed, one for small breeds. But the pea gravel that's out there will be fully removed, and it will be a synthetic turf engineered, designed for this exact application with a leashing vestibule to come in, take your dog off leash. And it's also been increased by about 800 square feet from what it is today. Now, the balance of the site is a flexible plaza space that is designed with some very wide benches to allow pedestrians, the public, to sit along the streetscape as well as kind of look in at the dog run. We also have a grove of trees that are planted within planters to comply with the site remediation. And then there is some site furnishings associated with that as well. Now, I have a series of 3D views that'll really kind of help tell the story of what we're proposing here. Additionally, along the light rail, the New Jersey Transit approved kind of fence is installed, will be installed along that in their compliance. So the first view we have here is looking kind of southwest from Regent Street. We can see the plaza space with the benches in the foreground, and then on the left-hand side, the dog run, and then the kids' play area with the shade sail that is proposed over there. You can also see the streetscape treatment, the sidewalk, street trees installed today and depicted in this image. There are also there are existing streetlights along Regent. We're proposing to supplement them within the plaza space with a multi-headed fixture that is angled to the various spaces within the park. A view within the kids' play area, and we can see the kind of enclosure with a fence enclosure and some planters along that edge, the synthetic turf and the shade sail. And then looking to the west with Liberty View Drive to our back, right in the foreground, the forestry standard tree planting detail in our foreground, the trees within the planters, and then the plaza space and the dog run. Now this image is going to kind of serve as, we're going to show a couple of different uses for the plaza. So here we're looking west or northwest from the dog run, and we can see how we have the grove of trees, and then we have an open kind of flexible space. And the flexible space has the ability to do a small kind of a craft market out there or food trucks within the area, kind of nestled within the benches. Additionally, a stage could be set up there with some seating for maybe a small concert series. And then possibly like a night movie, outdoor movie could happen in that same location. And then also in the winter months that we've just seen behind us, potentially a smaller ice rink with like an artificial ice surfacing could be installed in that location as well. So provide some flexibility for the residents, the public within the area to enjoy this space that today is a little underutilized. That provides an overview. The last image is the same image that I had shown as the first one, just the rendered landscape plan. So that provides an overview of the improvements proposed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carmen. Do you, by any chance, I didn't see it on the portal, do you have any images of the existing plan that was approved already? Just so we can compare original design compared to
I do not have an image of the previously approved. The previously approved essentially along the light rail, we were creating a wall there and berming up that was difficult with NJ Transit.
Okay.
So, but the uses were essentially the same uses proposed.
Okay, understood. That's your presentation then?
That is.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, anyone?
Couple just
Sure.
quick questions, Chairman.
Go ahead.
The kids' play zone, is there any playground equipment, or is it just kind of a area for children to
There
run
are a
around?
few pieces of equipment that are proposed in there, a playhouse as well as a spinning element. We intend to work with the daycare that utilizes it often to finalize any additional play specification within that area.
Gotcha. Is this park going to be owned by the developer and open to the public, or is this going to be handed over to the city at the conclusion of its construction?
I will defer that question.
My understanding is that it's going to be owned by the developer, but be a public amenity.
Excellent. Thank you. The uses that you shared for the kind of that area are, is the developer kind of committing to doing some programming? I know you showed a lot of examples of what could be used for. I'm just curious kind of if those uses will happen or how that materializes.
This developer does a lot of events, and although there's no specific plans, I know that Liberty Harbor will utilize this outdoor space to its maximal effect. I'm certain of it.
Council, is your microphone on? If you could just tap it somewhere.
No.
There we go. Okay. We just want to make sure everybody hears you when it goes live on the internet, all right? Okay.
Now that the microphone's on, that's all my questions. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you,
Perfect.
Counselor.
Okay, anybody else, any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to add, maintenance and the cleaning up the dog area, who's going to be responsible for that? The developer?
The developer, yes.
Okay, and are there any, I'm sorry, Pat, go ahead. You had more?
No, that's
Oh, are there any restrictions on the hours?
I am currently not aware of any.
I think
Counsel?
it's anticipated to be a dawn to dusk amenity,
Okay, even though,
excepting the public plaza area. I mean,
okay, so anything that's not fenced in. Okay, so there's no lights for the dog run, there's no lights for the children's playground.
Tom,
The lights that are within the plaza space, like I said, they're multi-headed, and we do have them aimed to provide coverage, safe coverage through the park space. So it is illuminated, whether it is open at night or there are specific hours. I'm not sure of that at this point.
Okay. It just seems, during the winter months, sun goes down awfully early.
I assume, Mr. Chairman, that the park, the dog area would be made available to people past dusk, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, that would be my concern.
Yeah.
Park being open, not the park, but the dog area being
Yeah,
open.
the dog area and the playground for that
Yeah,
matter.
exactly.
Yeah, maybe, Tanya, do you have any thoughts? Can we nail down a time possibly?
We could work with them, and we could work with the Department of Infrastructure a little bit further and get an idea. I think ultimately we're going to need a public easement.
Okay. All right, so,
One more question,
Sure, go
Chairman. Just curious, could you discuss briefly the fence, especially the fence between the light rail and the children and the dog space?
Sure. The fence between the light rail is it's the 6-foot high fence that is along all sections of the light rail per Jersey City, per NJ Transit. So it's in keeping with their typical detailing. My understanding is it's a 6-foot fence.
Gotcha. And does the bottom go all the way to the ground, or is there space underneath?
It does go all the way to the ground. So, and the fence that we have along the dog run and within the kids' play area, that's a 48-inch high fence. And we acknowledge also that if we need to add anything in associated with the fence, so if somebody's playing with a ball within the dog run, it's not rolling outside of that fence area. So that's something that we're considering and working through as well.
Thank you.
is there a gap between those two fences?
No, the fence that goes along the light rail is that NJ Transit fence, and that serves as the barrier at the light rail as well as the edge of the dog run or the children's play area.
Understood. Okay, I thought you were saying there was another fence inside that.
Yeah, no, that's the fence. I apologize, that is
course.
confusing. It's the fence that's essentially on the street side of the dog run or the kids' play area. That's that secondary fence.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just one other question. I see based on the image on the screen, the crosswalk at the light rail, I guess, doesn't align with the future proposed crosswalk or any modifications to that traffic signal, the striping or otherwise needed, or?
I see what you're saying there. It is intended that I think it's a graphic misrepresentation related to an aerial versus the overlaid graphic on there. The sidewalk and the crosswalk would certainly align.
Gotcha. So the no modifications to the signal equipment or the pavement markings would be required at that light rail crossing?
No.
For pedestrians?
No.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, anything else, anyone? All right,
No.
thank you, Mr. Carmen.
Thank you.
I do. Sure. Christopher Bednarski, Bednarski.
Mr. Bedarsky, good evening. Your license is current tonight in New
Yes,
Jersey?
it is.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified.
Thank you very much. I don't have much to discuss for the engineering aspect of it. I think Mr. Carmen did a great job laying out the proposed park. And actually, I think I'll go back to his exhibit here just to talk to the project. The Liberty Harbor North surrounding park area was designed and constructed as part of the Liberty Harbor North Phase 1 project, originally prepared way back in the early 2000s, which established the roadways and the utilities that were constructed in the adjacent streets. The actual location of this is on the Block 3 section of the redevelopment plan, and it is designated as a park in the redevelopment plan. The park was designed with gentle grading and drainage inlets, which will connect to the existing drainage in the adjacent streets that were also previously constructed as part of the Phase 1 project. As I mentioned, there's drainage improvements throughout the park. There will be a water service from Liberty View Drive for irrigation with a meter pit. And in regards to stormwater, it does have a direct discharge to the tidal basin via the dedicated storm sewer. No recharge is required because it's located in the urban redevelopment area, and no stormwater quality is required because there's no vehicular impervious coverage. In regards to my testimony, there's not really much more to add unless people have any questions regarding the engineering design.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm assuming the meter is on the lower right-hand side of the park?
Yes, it's located right near this location here. If you see that.
Okay, and when you say for watering, that's for the trees?
For irrigation, for the
Irrigation
grass
for
and
everything.
and the trees. Yes.
Okay. And that's got a backflow in that?
Yes, it does.
Meter as well?
An RPZ, yeah.
Okay, excellent. As far as electric services, there are electric, we're mentioning all these other uses that are possible. Is there electric available for those uses, for a concert, for a movie screen, for something like that?
I mean, we'll work with the electric company to ensure that there's adequate power, and if we needed to add, let's say a transformer or something associated for this work, we could certainly do that.
Okay, but there's no outlets planned at this point for any spot in there?
I would defer to Tom to see. Yeah, he said there would be some outlets there for connecting in for the movie screen or for, I'm sure, people to charge their phones or something like that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else? Any questions?
Chairman?
Sure.
And apologies, I'm not sure if to you or the prior speaker. Are there any public trash or recycling receptacles going to be provided?
Yeah, as typical with most public parks, there would be trash receptacles provided for this.
Perfect. And those would be serviced by the applicant?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
Yeah, I have another question. Getting back to the dog run, I'm just thinking about it. The bottom of the fence, is that going to be anchored in a way that we wouldn't have to worry about that lifting up for any type of people either crawling out or dogs doing whatever?
I think that the typical detail here that is the standard dog run detail that goes to the ground that allows it for the dogs not to get out of the enclosure.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Council, anything else?
That's it, Chairman.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody here from the public that wants to comment? Anyone from public?
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
Okay, public is, I'm sorry, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Tanya, do you have anything you want to add?
Nope, this is part of the requirements for 50 Regent, the approval that happened, I believe, 2012. And part of that approval included the public rights-of-way, the streets, and it also included this park. The dog park was allowed to be constructed separately and at its own pace, whereas the streets were more connected to the actual application and the timing of the application. The applicant has worked with us in the last couple of years, ensuring that we have bonds that were provided to us. The only thing that I would ask is that there be a public access agreement that was done with our law department prior to any kind of opening.
Happy to work with the law department on that.
You're satisfied with that, Tanya?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Chairman?
Sure.
Would it be possible to also just kind of ensure that as you develop the play equipment, that be coordinated with the city as well, just for concurrence?
Of course, we'll make that part of the agreement.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, council.
Chair would like to make a motion to approve case B 2025-0227 as presented to the board with staff recommendations and conditions.
Okay, motion is made and seconded for approval with conditions.
Acting Vice Chair Gungadin.
Yeah, I must say it's very thoughtfully designed and it'll be a great benefit to the community and the residents. Aye.
Commissioner Wick.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato.
I love the whole concept of this park, and I vote aye.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Yeah, great amenity to the community. Thank you. Aye.
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
And Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor with conditions.
Okay, thank you, council.
Thank you.
Let's move on to item 10, is case P2024-0064 is a preliminary and final major site plan. Addresses being 103, 105, and 107 Monticello Avenue. Good evening, council.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Eugene O'Connell appearing for the applicant. And
Gene, is that mic on again? I think that's off again.
Oh, this one. Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Eugene O'Connell appearing for the applicant and the owner. This is an application on the corner of Monticello and Brinkerhoff. It's there's some dilapidated buildings that are now going to be demolished, and this new building will be erected at this site. It is a notice case, and I have notices.
Perfect. Thank you, council.
I've reviewed the notice. It appears to be in order.
Okay, thank you, council. So we'll mark notice A1.
I have one witness, Jeffrey Lewis, but before I start with Jeffrey, we did meet with the Jackson Hill community and the Councilman Michael Griffin. At that meeting, the community asked for some affordable units. We were able to do that. We've registered the 2 units with Gigi and Division of Affordable Housing. And as an addition, there are 3 commercial establishments. And one of the commercial retail stores will be rented for 5 years at 75% of market rent. So with that on the record, I now ask Jeffrey Lewis to present our drawings.
Great, thank you, council.
Hey, Mike. Yes, I do. Jeffrey Lewis, Jeffrey Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, good evening. Your license is in good standing tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You're qualified.
Thank you. Okay. So, 103 Monticello Avenue. We're at the corner of Monticello Avenue and Brinkerhoff Street. What we're doing here is we're combining three lots into one oversized lot. It's a total of 6,951 square feet. Of these current 3 lots, 2 of them are vacant. The third has a 3-story building, which will be demolished. And we're proposing to replace all that with a new 5-story mixed-use building. That building's going to have commercial space on the ground floor facing Monticello Avenue. It's also going to have a 21-car parking garage, which is accessed from Brinkerhoff Street. And then on the floors above, 2nd through the 5th, we're going to have 36 total apartments. Those apartments break down as 28 one-bedroom apartments that average 475 square feet, 4 two-bedroom apartments that average 731 square feet, and 4 three-bedroom apartments, which average 902 square feet. We're looking at the site plan here, so I want to jump into that. We are proposing new concrete curbs on the property, including a new curb extension into Monticello Avenue. That includes new ADA curb cuts, new crosswalks, as well as the new curbs. We're also proposing new concrete sidewalks, 2 new street trees, as well as 2 existing street trees, which will remain for 4 total. We're also proposing 1 new 10-foot curb cut off of Brinkerhoff Street here, which provides access to our parking area. The building itself, going onto the site, is built on 3 property lines, both fronts and one at the side. And then the 4th side of the building, we have a rear yard area as well as a side walkway, which leads from the building out to Brinkerhoff Street. Sorry. So we are proposing an auto stacking parking system here. That's how on such a small site we're able to get 21 parking spaces. It's 3 levels high, 3 cars wide, and we're providing 2 of them. Each of them have 9 spaces. 8 of them are parking spaces. The 9th is the space that you park your car in, and then it juggles it around to where it needs to go. So there are a total of 16 in these systems here. Here we're showing the cellar plan. We're going to start in our cellar. So there are 6 cars in the cellar. So the main level of that parking system that I just noted is on the 1st floor, and we store 6 cars below and then 6 cars above. So in the cellar level, we have storage for 6 vehicles. At the front here, we have a basement area which will be used for mechanicals and meters. And then we have both stairs and the elevator, as well as what was a lobby above, and down here will just be used for storage, basically. Moving on to the 1st floor, I'm going to stick with that parking. So we have a 10-foot wide garage door, as well as a pedestrian entry door directly to the garage. And you can see on the left, these circled areas are where we have those 2 automated parking systems. These 2 spaces that were shown as empty will always be empty. Those are for loading and unloading. You park your car in there, and then the system juggles your car around to where it needs to go. And it's the same in reverse when you need to get your car out. Additionally, we have 5 parking spaces besides the parking system. All 5 of these spaces are EV parking spaces. We have EV chargers. 2 of them are handicap spaces. Also, these first 2 spaces are dedicated to the commercial spaces. So moving out of the parking area, we have these 3 commercial spaces in the front. They're a total of 1,102 square feet. The 2 larger ones are a little more than 400 square feet, and then there's a smaller one that's a little more than 200 square feet. But there's some wiggle room here. We can adjust them as needed. Our main building entry is at the bottom of the drawing. It's also from Monticello Avenue. Leads to this large lobby where we have our stair, our elevator, as well as our bicycle parking. This is parking for 18 bicycles. And then at the end of the hall, we have our trash and recycling room, which has a door, again, directly to the outside and down this walkway to the street. And then we also have our second staircase. And then, of course, there is also doors from the garage into that lobby. Moving on to the 2nd floor, this is a typical floor. All 4 of the residential floor plans are exactly the same. All the apartments in the building are ADA adaptable. They all have washer dryers in the unit, ducted furnaces for heat and air conditioning. There are 9 apartments on each of these floors. 7 of them are 1-bedroom apartments. There's one 3-bedroom apartment that's located here at the top left corner of the property. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. And then there's one 2-bedroom apartment, and that's at the other corner, at the corner of Monticello and Brinkerhoff. And again, 2 stairs, elevator with a common hallway combining them. The building also has a roof deck. This is served by both stairs and the elevator. There's also a small rooftop lobby for the elevator and for stair number 2. The roof deck itself is 1,753 square feet, and it is set back from both of the street frontages. We have a condenser area located at the back of the building where all of our mechanical units will be located. And then we have 2 large sections of green roof area. They total 1,738 square feet. Moving on to our building elevations, this is the Monticello Avenue elevation. Starting at the ground floor, the main finish is a blue-gray brick. We have black storefront windows that have these black infill panels and wood doors, and you could see an example of that in the center here with the black and the wood doors. Above that, we have a 2-foot metal-wrapped awning, which separates the ground floor from the floors above. And then on the main finish for the floors above is a cobblestone-colored fiber cement siding. Again, we have the same black frame windows. At the top of the building, we have a modern cornice, which is wrapped in fiber cement panels in 2 colors, this gray as well as the Arctic white. And then on our bulkhead, we have a brick finish, which will match the brick finish on the ground floor. Moving on to Brinkerhoff Street. Again, we're carrying all those same finishes all the way around. The only real thing that's different here is we have that garage door, and the garage door is going to be a solid door, which we painted the same color as our storefront, so it would be a dark black. This next elevation is our side elevation. This is the elevation where the walkway is, so the right side, I guess. What's different here, we have generally the same finishes up on above. The main difference here is the ground floor, where instead of brick, we're going to have a smooth stucco finish which will be painted a color to match that brick. Also, we do have these double doors in the back, which are the doors from the trash room out to the exterior. And then here we have the other side of the building. It's basically the same finishes as we had on the previous elevation. And I just wanted to note that we do have a 3-foot setback in the middle of the building so that these windows are all in a window well. And then lastly, we do have a rendering. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have some close-ups of the lower levels just to get a better idea of what these ground floors would look like. That concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions you might have.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Go ahead, Vidya.
I just have 2 questions.
Sure.
The affordable, I believe I heard affordable units, 2 affordable units?
Yes, that's correct.
And where they're located?
One's on the 2nd floor, one's on the 3rd floor. They're both 1-bedroom units. One is a moderate rent, and the rent for that unit would be $1,614. The other is at low, and the rent for that would be $1,256.
And the amenities would be the same as the other apartments?
Yes, of course.
Okay. On the garage for pedestrian, is there going to be any alarm system or any flashing lights or something?
Yeah, we'll
for
have,
safety
yes, we
concerns?
would have the pedestrian alert system at the garage door.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Vidya. You only got 2 of my questions. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Lewis, if you could take us up to the roof plan, please. Okay, let's talk mechanical screening. What do you have up there?
Sure. We do have screening around the entire, this entire group. I think we have a picture of it right here. Let me just zoom in. Here we go. So it's an aluminum screen that's about, oh, I didn't bring my glasses. I'm sure it's 3 to 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah, the height says
It's
8
3 foot.
feet, but there's also,
The vertical supports are 3 foot by 3 foot, so it would be 3 feet tall.
what's the text underneath,
Oh,
Jeff?
the height, it says 8 feet, but that's not correct. I'm sorry.
So that should be amended? in the-
We'll fix that. That
Okay.
would be a 3 foot tall screen.
Okay. Okay, and that runs the entire length, correct?
It wraps around the entire section, yes.
Okay. As far as any fencing for the roof deck, is there anything on the edge of the building?
The edge of the building has a parapet that's 4 feet tall.
Okay. Just enough to put a drink on it, sounds
Well,
like?
we do have also, we have a lower fence which is separating the roof deck from the outside. So people wouldn't be walking outside of this roof deck area.
Okay, gotcha. I think that was it for me. Oh, I'm fascinated by the puzzle parking. I love it. So you mentioned there's a loading spot.
Yes.
Now that loading spot is just to pull your car in. You're
Correct.
referring to it as a loading spot, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so you're not pulling into that spot, unloading your groceries, and then letting the...
I can't tell people how to do that, but basically what happens is you put your car in that space, get out of your car, and then you have to go to the keypad and tell the machine where to put your car, and it will move it there. So it doesn't move your car until you tell it to move your car.
Okay.
I would expect people to take their stuff out first because it's kind of tight. It is just a parking space.
Sure.
But again, I can't make them.
I'm just, I'm just...
Yeah, you want to know how it works. I get it.
Well, no, I know how it works, but I just wanted to hear that it's not, a specific loading spot. That's
Right. It's not a loading zone. Right. Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's it for me. I have no other questions. Anybody else?
Couple just quick
Sure, go
questions,
ahead.
Chairman. I believe they're labeled units B and C, but the units facing kind of between the stairwells. Could you just kind of provide a little bit of commentary about kind of the natural light and, is that a light well? What's
Yeah.
next door? How?
So we do have a 3-foot light well here. Actually, next door to us is an empty lot. So right now there would be lots of light coming in there.
Gotcha. How far away is the property boundary in case that lot were to be developed?
I
in
think
the
we
future?
stepped back about 4 feet was what would be required.
Okay.
We followed the building code, and the building code tells you how deep it needs to be depending on the height of the building.
Gotcha. And you believe there's sufficient light can
Yes.
get to those units? Excellent. One question for you on the bike parking in the lobby.
Yes.
Is that going to be screened in any way, or is that just going to kind of be open within the lobby space?
It was planned to be open. We were showing the detail here in the corner of the stacked system that we're using. I could zoom in on that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So they kind of stack, they'd be side to side stacked into there. There's
Okay.
2 levels. So I think it would probably be open.
Okay.
But you can see it does have a little bit of a boundary built into it here.
Gotcha. And is there a way to lock the bike to that bike structure?
Yes. You can see this bike here is locked.
Excellent. Thank you. One question, I guess, regarding the bump out on the corner that you're installing. I'm just reviewing the traffic transportation memo, and I believe they kind of made a request in that memo to extend the bump out onto the Brinkerhoff as well, in addition to the Monticello side. Was that something that you guys considered, or?
We're going to comply with the traffic memo.
Yeah, I think we must have misunderstood the comment. I was under the impression it was just supposed to be on the Monticello side, but our intent was to comply with that, so we could extend that out to Brinkerhoff as well.
Okay, perfect. That would be appreciated. All right. Is there any restrictions to the height and width of cars that would be utilized in the puzzler system?
There's definitely a height restriction. It fits generally everything, from what I understand, except like the largest trucks. I think if you look in the provided even just in the provided detail, they show some larger vehicles in the bottom. You can see they're showing almost vans down here. So I don't know the exact size, but there are certainly size limitations, but it fits most cars.
Okay, great. All right, and then, and I apologize if this was addressed, but I'm just reading the memo. Continuous planted strip is not suitable. Instead, extended tree pits and/or rain gardens for stormwater retention. I'm assuming that's for outside on the sidewalk.
Sure. I mean, we do, I don't think I mentioned this, we do have a stormwater detention system beneath our parking area. But our tree pits are obviously going to comply with the city standards.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Andy, you okay with the bikes being out in the open?
I mean, I think it's an aesthetic question. I don't know that I'm the most aesthetically minded one, so I'll defer to others on the board if they think it should be screened. But it's their property that they're renting, so if they...
I love it. It's a building I'd want to live in, having bikes in the lobby out in the open like that, so.
Yeah, I have no issue with it.
I think you're in love with the parking. I think you find that very intriguing.
I want to just go visit the site and watch the parking. It's screened, right? You can't see the cars moving around.
And it's screened, but you'll see them. You'll see them move.
I love it.
Is there, I guess, some sort of separation from the mechanics of that parking system and outside of the spot which the pedestrian drives in?
There is. Like I said, there is a screen in front of it
Yeah.
to separate everything,
Okay.
but it isn't solid. You can see through.
Okay, well, we're excited for a visit once it's built.
All right.
Oh, most definitely. Want to be able to play with the buttons.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions, anyone, for Mr. Lewis?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody here from public that wants to comment on this application? Anyone from public?
Chair, see no one from public. I would like to close the public portion.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Matt, you're handling this?
Yep.
You're the only one left on this, huh? Everybody.
That's
else is
right.
gone on the agenda.
Don't remind me. This is a preliminary and final major site plan without variances in the Jackson Hill redevelopment plan. The applicant has put on the record that they're going to be adding 2 affordable units to the project despite not being required. Just an added recommendation regarding that, we just recommend that you comply with Chapter 188 of the Municipal Ordinance, which controls the compliance and administration of affordable units in the city. Other than that, we have standard recommended conditions in the staff memo dated November 19th, 2025. I believe that they did some revisions to date for the transportation memo, and I put on the record that they will be further complying. Staff recommends that they also comply with the other review agent comments, and overall, staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you.
And we'll comply with the staff memo.
Okay, thank you, council. One more question, actually. So the affordable units are regulated. How about the retail space at 75%?
That's a good question. I thought may put in the resolution and I'll record it in the registrar's office.
Matt, you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, and that's for 5 years?
5 years at 75% of market.
Okay. All right, thank you. And that's based on square footage in the area or citywide? What is that 75% based on, market?
It'd be in the area
Okay,
of Monticello Avenue.
okay. So we could put that in the resolution as well?
Sure.
All right, thank you, council.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case P2024-0064 as presented to the board with staff recommendations and conditions.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval with conditions.
Acting Vice Chair Ganganan?
Yeah, I appreciate very much the affordable units and the market rent for the commercial space for the 5 years. This is a great addition to the neighborhood, so my vote is aye.
Commissioner Wick?
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan?
I applaud kind of the innovation put into this proposal and the thoughtfulness behind it, and thank you for that. And I also vote aye.
Commissioner Patel? Aye. And Chairman Langston?
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate the affordable units. That's great to hear that that just came out of a community meeting. The 75% on the rent for the retail space is great. And again, I love the parking situation. Matt, remember way back when there were no stackables in the city? Whew, we've come a long way, huh? All
Yes.
right. Okay, so my vote is aye. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's a great project.
Appreciate it.
Motion carries all in
Thank you.
favor.
All right, thank you. So let's move on to item 11 is a preliminary and final major site plan with variances for NJSH Route 440 and 8 NJSH Route 185.
Good evening again, Chairman Langston, Commissioners. Donald Pepe from Scrinsy Hollenbeck on behalf of the applicant. So this is an existing site that you may have recalled was formerly occupied by some petroleum storage tanks. I'm happy to say that that remediation is well underway. It's been approved by the LSRP and it's being implemented. We expect it to be done this year. The property is located on somewhat of an island between 440 and 185, so it's quite an isolated piece of property. It's in the Port Industrial Zone, and we are proposing construction of a terminal facility for rail, truck, and warehouse transportation. The property has a little bit of a history. We received a zoning board approval for a warehouse in 2022 that was never able to be implemented for financial reasons. In 2023, we came before this board and got an approval for a very similar application, a very similar terminal facility application. A user was ultimately identified, which is really triggering our need to come back here now. So we are seeking preliminary and final site plan approval, but it's very similar to the site plan that was originally approved. The only variance we need this evening is with respect to an existing chain link fence, which would otherwise be prohibited. I have 3 witnesses here. I would leave it to the board's discretion whether you want to hear from all of them, but the first one is a civil. I have our planner, and I have a traffic consultant. So with no further ado, I will call up our civil engineer, take you through the plan.
Council, do you have notice?
Oh, I'm sorry, absolutely. Patrick, could you grab it out of the file? It was submitted on Tyler, but yes, this was a notice application, and I'll pull the package out.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. My son recently bought a car from Carvana, and we used the Pez dispenser. It was really cool.
USB-C?
No, it's a regular USB.
Oh. Should be able to just get in
No, it's a rectangle.
there. Let me see.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right, thank you, Council. So we'll mark notice A1.
Just give me a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
For the record, can you state and spell your name?
Name is Robert Caluco, C as in Charlie, O-L-U, C as in Charlie, C as in Charlie, O. Principal with Dynamic Engineering Consultants.
Thank you.
Robert, your license is current?
Yes, and in good standing.
You're a licensed civil engineer?
Yes.
You've appeared before this board?
I have not appeared before this board, but I have appeared before various other boards in the state.
Chairman.
Okay, and that license is in the state of New Jersey, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, you're qualified.
Yeah, why don't you take the board through what we're proposing?
Sure. First, I'll take the board through the existing conditions. Mr. Pepe noted, was formerly a tank farm. As you can see on this aerial exhibit, the site is outlined in yellow in the center of the page. It consists of approximately 16.08 acres. Those tanks have since been removed in contemplation for this project. You can see from the dirt patches and the aerial image there. Route 440 runs along the property frontage in a north-south direction. Access to the site is provided via one right-in, right-out driveway to Route 440. This driveway was constructed in accordance with an approved NJDOT major access permit. And in addition to the driveway, there is an existing gate in the center of the aisle as well. And I can move on to proposed conditions. This is a site plan rendering. It's dated February 10th, 2026. It's basically a colorized combined version of the site and landscape plans that were submitted with the subject application. Again, north points to the top right of the page. As Mr. Pepe noted, the site is located within the city's port industrial zone, and the proposed use consists of a terminal facility for rail, truck, and waterborne transportation, including storage and containerization of shipping containers, which is permitted in the PI zone. In addition to the use, the site is compliant with all bulk requirements, including maximum lot coverage. And access to the site is going to remain at that driveway that was previously constructed. That driveway was constructed in accordance with the major access permit, which was for the warehouse use. This terminal facility use is a lesser operating site from a trip generation perspective, so we don't anticipate that there will be any adverse impacts from a traffic or DOT permitting associated with the change. To provide identification for both the site and the driveway, there is a proposed freestanding sign located on the north side of the driveway, and that sign is compliant with all area, height, and setback requirements of the city code. As I noted before, there is an existing gate that was installed as part of the driveway improvements that is located in the center of the aisle here. So as trucks come through, they'll stop at the gate. There's also a guard trailer that's located just north of the gate. It's on the ingress side of the drive aisle. Adjacent to the guard trailer, there is a parking space specifically for the guard trailer. Technically for this use, as there is no building on site, no parking is required. But again, a space is provided for the guard trailer itself. As vehicles enter the site and get past the gate, there is full two-way circulation around the site where they can stage at any of the storage areas. The storage areas are denoted by the striping located in the western portion of the site in the rear, the center, and the front along Route 440. Beneath the rear and the center storage areas are two proposed pervious pavement basins. As the proposed improvements result in disturbance greater than 1 acre, the site is considered a major development. The basins have been designed in accordance with the major development, stormwater quantity requirements, and quality requirements of both NJAC 7:8 and the DOT. Any runoff that is generated by the storage areas will be routed, it'll sheet flow over grade and collected by the pervious pavement system, where it'll be infiltrated into the storage area, which is below grade, and ultimately discharged to the DOT systems, same as it does today. In order to provide adequate lighting for the site, there are various pole-mounted fixtures. They're scattered around the outskirts of the paved storage areas, and also there are 5 light poles proposed within the center, and that lighting will provide adequate lighting both from an operations and from a safety perspective. In addition, there is a robust landscaping plan. Primarily, the landscaping is provided along Route 440, and those trees are provided to buffer the site. Also, city code requires 1 tree per 25 linear feet of site frontage, which results in 58 required trees, whereas 59 are proposed. In addition to the plantings along the frontage, as you can see, there's also plantings on either side of the access aisle coming into the site. Again, that's to provide an additional buffer from vehicles that are traversing down Route 440. In total, combined with the site frontage trees and those driveways on the side there are 93 trees proposed as part of this application. And then to close my testimony, I'll just note, as Mr. Pepe noted, we are requesting one deviation from the code. It is for that chain link fence. There's existing chain link fence that runs along the property frontage. The applicant is proposing to repair the existing fence and then infill in the gaps where it may be missing. That's primarily from a safety perspective. What I will note is that the fence is going to be designed so it's not the prominent feature along the frontage. It's going to be set back where the landscaping is the prominent feature, and it'll blend into the background. Fences along Route 40, specifically chain link, are pretty common. In my professional opinion, there's no negative criteria in terms of detriment to the general welfare of the public for the fence. As I just stated, they're pretty common around Route 440, and the site, as you can see, is surrounded primarily by right-of-ways. You've got Route 440 on the front, you've got the turnpike extensions along the sides, and then you have the rail in the rear, and then beyond that you have the turnpike toll booth plaza. So it's separated from residential neighborhoods. The uses that are past the roads are all similar industrial uses, so we don't believe that there's any adverse impacts or detriment to the city codes as part of the fence.
Robert, just a couple of points of clarification. That security trailer, that's all self-contained, correct?
Correct.
And when we talk about a terminal facility for rail, truck, and waterborne transportation, we're talking about storage of things like cars or construction materials as well?
Yes.
No further questions.
Okay, thank you, counsel. So to just follow up on that last question, any of the material in there is, so if it's construction material, it's on a trailer of some sort that can be pulled in and out, or is it just stored in a space?
It could be both, but it needs to be the ability to store it on the yard ground.
Okay. All right, understood. Are containers taken off the rail line there as well?
No.
There's no access for that, correct?
No, not at this time. There used to be as part of the prior approvals, but that's since been removed.
Okay, that's being removed. All right. The entire site is the pervious asphalt?
Not the entire site. You have the bulk of the rear and the center. The front is all your typical heavy-duty pavement for this type of operation.
Okay. And just to be clear, that chain link fence sits behind the landscaping, correct?
Correct.
Okay, there's no barbed wire on the top, it's just chain link right to the top, and that's it?
Just chain link, no barbed wire.
Okay. All right, those are my only questions. Anybody else?
Can you just clarify what is the code requiring in terms of the fencing that you're seeking a variance from?
That there's no chain link permitted.
Gotcha. So it would require different material for the fencing? Fencing is permitted, but the chain link material is the variance?
Correct, that's my understanding.
Okay, appreciate that.
Anybody else?
No.
A couple other just quick questions. Is there any sort of, you have a guard trailer, is that intended to be staffed 24/7, or what's the intended kind of operation with that?
It's intended to be 24/7.
Or when the facility's open?
24/7. 24/7.
Gotcha. Is there any sort of restroom or porta potty provided for that guard in the trailer?
Yes, it would be self-contained in the trailer, yes.
Excellent. I noted in the staff memo from the MUA, just two questions from them. One, is the proposed fire hydrant layout acceptable to the fire department?
We're working through that with the fire department and the MUA.
Gotcha. So that could be a condition to resolve that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Gotcha. And then have you coordinated all with the Turnpike Authority in terms of easements for their upcoming construction project adjacent to the property?
Yes, we have. That's also in process. We're waiting on one more review from their office.
Awesome. And then the last question is, do you kind of have an understanding of from the trucks and traffic routing? Obviously, this is a unique driveway location. Are they coming from the port, or are they coming from the turnpike, from 440, or it varies?
I would say typically 440, that's where the access is from. There's also a deceleration lane that was added as part of the DOT approval in this area. So it would come from 440. There's no other access from no direct access from 185 that they could get to the site. It has to come from this Route 440.
Just where, I think the question was, where do you believe the traffic would be originating from?
That I would have to defer.
Yeah, so to clarify the question, certainly I believe site access, DOT approved it there, very particular. But access to reach this ramp from, for example, Port Jersey, would require the vehicles to kind of do a pretty loop-de-loo down through, through Avenue C in Bayonne, or Jersey City, right on the border there on 440, and then kind of make the U-turn back. So that was really, I guess, my question. I know there isn't a significant amount of traffic based on your driveway but if all those vehicles were being routed in a certain way, the question would be if there was an impact. But I don't know if we know where they're coming from or what that impact would be.
I know there was a traffic study that was submitted with the original application.
Our traffic consultant is here. I was going to ask if you'd like me to bring him up when we finished,
Okay, I can defer that question then. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else on civil? Okay, thank you, sir.
I'd like to, Mr. Downey?
No worries.
Good evening.
Swearing testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And for the record, can you state and spell your name?
Sure. Patrick Downey, D-O-W-N-E-Y.
Thank you.
Patrick, you're a traffic engineer?
That's correct.
You are licensed in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I am, as well as several other states.
Your license is current?
It is.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified,
Thank you very
sir.
much.
I think you could really start with the commissioner's question. Do we have a sense from your traffic study as to where the traffic is originating from?
Sure. So there was a little bit larger of a traffic study prepared for the original warehouse development that also included truck traffic and just a higher total volume of traffic. For this, because it's a reduction, we didn't drill into the specifics, and I think it's largely going to be driven by the customer base that the end user ends up bringing in. So I don't know that we can say with certainty, but DOT did review just the general accessibility of trucks throughout the region as part of their review of the access permit, and this is the only place that they required improvements for the deceleration lane for the site access. So to answer your question, I don't know that we can really say, but it's an access from the adjacent highway system that does accommodate trucks today.
I have a question. How many trailers a day do you expect to come in and out of this site?
So per day, let me pull this up. In terms of peak hour trip generation, it's a pretty significant reduction from the previous warehouse, but I do have daily trip generation here for you. Sorry, I've got too many things here. So we're looking at total daily trip generation in the neighborhood of 400 trips per day. Certainly the majority of that's going to be associated with this trucking use. So 400 trips, and that's in and out trips total.
So 200 in, roughly 200 out, correct?
Right, depends on the length of the stay too. It could be, more ins than outs or what have you, but yes.
And again, the materials coming in and going out are roughly what?
The materials with...
Same material coming in is going out? Is that how you're working?
Within the trucks?
Yeah.
Yes, it's not being loaded,
So
unloaded
it's sort of
on
like a
site.
trailer transfer type of deal.
You're right, it's really storage or parking, that type of use.
And this is all, the trailers going out, which again are loaded, are going where? To the port? Is that what this is about?
Again, I think the end destinations or the origins of this is a bit beyond the scope of what we as kind of the engineers for the site can determine.
Okay.
It's really going to be driven by the end users and the customer base.
What was the peak hour or the highest hour of truck that you anticipate?
Sure. So peak hour trip generation is 125 total trips of that. So that's in the morning peak hour. That's using the DOT HAP rates for truck terminal based on the acreage of the site.
Is that the peak hour for this facility or the peak hour for the overall network?
For this facility.
Gotcha. So you said, I'm sorry, 120,
125 trips total. That's based on the
so
HAPS
like
rates.
half of that in and half of that out?
Roughly, you know,
Roughly.
unless there's some sort of daily in-out distribution of the.
Of course.
But roughly, yes.
Gotcha. And I mean, 75 trucks, these are tractor trailer, right? Because this is a trailer parking
Correct.
facility?
Yeah, by and large. I mean,
So
it certainly could accommodate smaller vehicles, but it's designed to accommodate the largest.
Of course. So I guess my question is, like, I'm going to make an assumption just to illustrate the question. But let's just say there are 75 vehicles originating from the port, going to your site, and then being later sent to wherever they may go. Is there direct roadway access to this facility and this ramp from the port? Or would they need to be routed? What would that routing kind of look like if?
We haven't personally reviewed the overall network to that level of degree for this use, given it's a reduction from the previous and it's already coming from the state highway system. We could certainly get you the answer, but I don't have it for you at the moment. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. Like, just U-turns are challenging on the state highway system, and 75 trucks an hour, you know, put into a traffic signal when it didn't previously exist. I know there's a lot of assumptions in that statement, but certainly that can modify the level of service at the traffic signals required for those trucks to access the site, depending on their origin.
Sure. Yeah, and I can't say certainly a larger percentage than the warehouse's trucks now than the previous warehouse approval, but the total trip generation that DOT made us use for that approval was double to quadruple what this generates in totality. So as part of that review of offsite traffic impacts, I think we're still comfortable it's less than that, and that's how we anticipate DOT is going to review it in the review of our currently submitted letter of no interest for this change of use that we've submitted.
Gotcha. Could you help just educate me that prior review, which this is less significant than of, did that consider those offsite impacts on those routes?
It looked at offsite intersections. I don't know the exact list of intersections it reviewed, but it did go beyond the scope of just this driveway intersection.
Gotcha. So this question was answered for the prior site application and deemed satisfactory, and then this is less of an impact.
That's
on that
my
one.
understanding, yes.
Okay. I appreciate that answer. Thank you.
Patrick, just to put a little finer point on that, if the DOT determined that this use would trigger some failures at intersections, they would have required intersection improvements, correct?
Yeah, that would be typical, and they can require improvements for capacity reasons or for geometric improvements if they think it's a truck turning issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Matt.
So there was mention of storage of vehicles and materials. Can you just confirm whether or not this could be considered a junkyard for scrap materials, for unregistered vehicles, impound? Or is it for unsold vehicles or?
Let me make sure.
Okay.
I think the answer is absolutely no. Yeah, the planner has a specific list prepared, but no, these would be new materials.
Counsel, can we get that answer on the microphone?
Yes, our planner is prepared to testify as to a list of uses that's more comprehensive than what I supplied, but these are new materials.
Okay, understood, thank you.
And what about the vehicles?
And I'm not certain if they're new or owned vehicles, but they are certainly not junk vehicles, and they are certainly.
Is it an impound?
Sorry?
Will it be used as an impound, a tow yard?
Tow yard? No, there's no intention to use it as a tow yard. We'd come back if we wanted to.
Okay.
Regular trailers or Sealand type containers?
I'm assuming both.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, anybody else?
Just, is there any going to be lifting or changing of containers, or is it really just, like you said, containers on a trailer and that's where it is? There's no cranes or anything operating like that. Is that correct?
There could be stacking, which I think is typically carried out by a large forklift.
A forklift. Okay, gotcha. So you may be removing them from the trailer bed, stacking, and then restoring them to that. Do you have a specific area in the plan for that operation, or is it just kind of done throughout where it's needed?
I don't, I mean, we can check back with Robert, but.
It's done throughout, so the pavement has been designed to fit either of the uses.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And again, this is all new type of materials coming in and going out, correct?
Yes, and again, you'll have more on that from our planner.
Okay, good.
Counsel, I know this is completely the wrong time. Can we talk about the remediation also?
Sure, what would you like to know?
Okay, so it's in progress, correct?
Yes, there's a remedial action work plan that's been approved, it's been implemented. I think the soils have been addressed, and there's just continuing groundwater monitoring attenuation.
Okay, so before you get permits to build this, who signs off on it? State EPA?
You know, when you're doing remediation under state law now, it's a licensed site remediation, LSRP, licensed site remediation professional. They're licensed by the DEP to supervise and carry out the remediation. They report to the DEP. DEP then subsequently reviews their report and just kind of rubber stamps it, if you will.
Okay. Okay, understood. Anybody else on traffic? All right, thank you, sir.
So I'd like to bring up our planner to answer some of the open questions.
Oh, at least I can say I don't know. I don't know these guys.
That's all right.
Yeah, you can leave it up. It's fine. I'll just hold it. Figure it out. Good evening.
Good evening.
Before I drop my computer.
Brian, testimony you give tonight's going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
For the record, can you state and spell your name?
Yes, Joseph Sparone, S-P-A-R-O-N-E. I'm a director with Dynamic Engineering located in Chester, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Mr. Sperone, you're a licensed professional planner?
Licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey, and I have testified before this board previously.
Thank you, sir. You're qualified.
Thank you. So why don't you start with the questions that were asked as to the uses?
Yeah, so, well, I'll tie them both together. So the variance being the chain link fence, you know, being permitted in the front yard. So the planning rationale from a planning perspective, this is very fitting and appropriate for an industrial type project like this, especially in the area that was previously described where it's surrounded by, you know, basically highways and railroad. The fence of this nature is pretty typical in that area, and for industrial use of this. The use, which I know there's questions being asked, the use is a terminal facility, which is permitted in the PI Port Industrial District. I'm going to read the list, and I think this will answer the question, but the proposed storage spaces are marked and arranged in a manner to provide storage space for shipping containers, truck, and trailer storage, contractor storage, storage of building materials, other machinery, and materials, and uses that are incidental to terminal facilities for rail, truck, and waterborne transportation. The use itself that's listed in the zoning ordinance is actually that terminal facility for rail, truck, and waterborne transportation, including storage and containerization facilities. So it's pretty general, but you know, the idea being was to make the site versatile. That's why actually we're back in for it's a new application. The previous application, if the board recalls, was for a containerization facility where it would have been stacked containers. The idea is to keep that, but you know, as you can see here, the latest iteration, it's mainly set up for, as I described, where you have marked and, you know, arranged storage spaces that can accommodate a wide variety of materials, as I listed. Another portion of that could be autos, but they would be new and not personally owned autos. That would be for, again, this is for resale, wholesale, not happening here, but, you know, as part of the transportation in the modes that I talked about, whether it be rail, truck, or waterborne transportation in the region.
And absolutely no recycling or similar processing.
Correct. No recycling, not a junkyard, will not be, I think impound yard was mentioned. That is not the nature of the business. The nature of the business is bringing in material, you know, transferring trailers, and then bringing them back out, you know, to their final destination.
No solid waste, no demolition, any of that stuff?
No. Nope.
Could you just confirm any loading of trailers with automobiles will be done within the property, not adjacent or on the streets?
Any activities that I just mentioned, that would be wholly within the property. It's designed to be self-contained.
Perfect.
And that goes back into the rationale for the chain link fence. You know, the main reason for that fence is security, safety, and, you know, to basically make it so that it's self-contained so you don't get illegal entry.
Are any of the containers stacked?
They could be. I mean, the site is designed to accommodate that, and that was per the previous approval. They would have been stacked, and that was mainly what the site was for. So yeah, you could still have that type of use as is permitted by the zoning.
Okay. Matt, how high can we stack containers on this site? Do you know?
The height standard in this zone is 50 feet.
Okay.
Well, that's 5 containers.
All right, anybody else? All right, thank you, sir. We appreciate
welcome.
it. Council?
That completes my presentation.
All right,
We did
thank you.
receive a planning report. We're happy to comply with all of the conditions in there. We received the review letter from the EUA, which was mentioned earlier. We will comply with the conditions in there.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anybody here from public that wants to comment on this application? Anyone from public?
Chair, see no one from public. I would like to close the public portion.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Matt, do you have anything else?
Yeah, so this application was originally submitted as an amended site plan to the application. One moment. P22-223. You can see when you're looking through some of the review agent comments, the transportation comments referenced that amendment. We'd just like those review agent comments incorporated into this application and complied with, and is one of our conditions should the board make a motion to approve this application. I think I just have one more question. This couldn't be classified as a self-storage facility either, right?
No.
Okay. Staff is satisfied with the planning testimony regarding the chain link fencing. Do you think that there is no standard detriment here or substantial detriment here given this location and the use proposed? We're happy to hear about the stormwater management being conducted on site in compliance with state regulations. We do have our standard conditions in addition to the one that I was amending regarding the review agent comments. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Excuse me, just with respect to that, Mr. Ward, there was a condition that we provide certification from an architect. Obviously, that's not applicable here. And
Correct.
I concede that those comments, even though that report was written with respect to an amendment, they are equally as applicable to this application.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, I'll entertain a motion then.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case B 2025-0167 as presented to the board with staff recommendations and conditions.
Before we make a second,
I just wanted to note, I think in the testimony, they said that the fire hydrant locations would be in concurrence with JCFD review. Is that part of the conditions or?
It is. It's in the review letter, so we've agreed to comply with
Okay,
the review.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
okay, so we have a motion.
Second.
And
I
we
make
have
a motion.
second. All right, thank you.
Acting Vice Chair Gangadon,
Aye.
Commissioner Wick,
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
and Chairman Langston.
Yeah, I think there's no detriment to the public good for the variance requested, so my vote is aye.
Motion carries all in favor on a motion to approve with conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break, everybody. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, could we come back to order, please, everybody? Cam, do you want to announce that one carry that we have before we move on?
Yes, Chairman, thank you. And there was actually another request to carry in that break.
Okay.
So I will start with the first correspondence we received, which was from Attorney Burke representing case P 2025-0131. It's item 28 on the agenda. So item 28 on the agenda, case P 2025-0131. This is a minor subdivision at 61 Prospect Street. They've requested to carry with preservation notice to April 28th. So 61 Prospect will be at the April 28th meeting. No new notice is required. And we also received correspondence from item 21, applicant Prashant Shah. Item 21, case P 2024-0240. This is for a minor site plan with C variances. Address is 916 and 918 West Side Avenue, and they have requested to carry with preservation of notice to May 26th. And that concludes correspondence, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Cam. And just for the record, once again, we announced this early on, item 14, case P 2025-0129, preliminary and final major site plan with variances for 2859 to 2873 Kennedy Boulevard. That's being carried to April 14th. Okay, so let's once again call item 12, case P 2025-0130. Is a preliminary and final major site plan for 626 Communipaw Avenue.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. For the record, Charles Harrington of Connell Foley. On behalf of the applicant, we did provide public notice for the application, so I'd like to give those to council.
Okay, thank you, Council. So we'll mark that A1 for notice.
Thank you. Okay, so the application before you tonight is it's a property located in a Jackson Hill redevelopment plan and the R1 zone. So it's one of those split lot developments. But a majority of the area of the project is which fronts on Communipaw and it backs up to Harrison. The front part on Communipaw exceeds the lot area that fronts on Harrison. So what that means is, pursuant to the Jersey City Land Development Ordinance, you can use the zoning in the Jackson Hill redevelopment plan for the overall project. So that's what we're presenting to you tonight. My client, I can represent to you, has been designated as the redeveloper of the project by the JCRA. The reason for that is that it is a 6-story building. And in the Jackson Avenue redevelopment plan, when you do above 5 stories, the 6-story requires that 5% of the unit count on the 6th story would be an affordable unit and subject to a redevelopment agreement with the JCRA. So that affordable unit will be a 3-bedroom unit, and it would be a low-income unit. And that has already been reviewed and approved by the Division of Affordable Housing in the event this is approved. So, as noted, the property fronts on Communipaw and it's a through lot to Harrison Avenue behind. It's a little over 11,000 square feet. So we are proposing 6 stories, 70 residential units, and then there's a retail commercial component that fronts on Communipaw Avenue. The application presented is not requesting any variances or deviations, so it's as of right. It is, I don't know if some of the board members are here the last few years, they may recall a similar project, a few lots directly to the east that was approved. It's almost a mirror image of that project with the parking coming off of Harrison, which is, you'll see during the presentation, similar to tonight. With that said, I have 3 experts here, but my plan is to just present our architect, Mr. Garber, to walk you through it. I also have my civil engineer here and our traffic engineer here in the event the board has any questions. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Garber.
All right, thank you, counsel.
Yes. Richard Garber, Garber.
Mr. Garber, good evening. Your license is in good standing?
It is, Mr.
Okay,
Langston,
Thank
yes.
you, you're qualified.
Thank you.
Hey, Rich, before you start, if we're going to mark that as A2, right? This
Yes, so this is a
slide deck.
PowerPoint. It contains no different information than any drawings. It's just stylized a little bit for the presentation.
Okay, and how many slides is it?
It is 34 slides.
And what date was it prepared, March 24th?
Prepared March 24th, 2026, yes.
Okay, thank you. So A2.
So thank you, board, for hearing the project. This is the building we are proposing. I will go into the design of it a little bit. It is on Communipaw Avenue. As Mr. Harrington said, it is a through lot. I love projects in this part of town. I mean, Communipaw, as many of you will remember, was a kind of CA, a commercial automotive strip, and one of the major east-west corridors in the city. And it, like many areas, has really kind of gone through some significant change in the last several years. We've been fortunate to do another few buildings in this very area. And so you can see in the zoning area, we are split zoned between the RC2, as Mr. Harrington said, and the R1. So we have a kind of backwards L lot that you can see between Bergen and JFK, excuse me. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So just some photos of the lot, and you can see that the Harrison side is fairly nondescript. There's some of us may call that a mural currently as the Harrison facade, but you can see the character of buildings, and we thought about this quite significantly as we developed elevations that I'll show again in a second. As Mr. Harrington said, the majority of this lot is within the Jackson Hill. As a matter of fact, there was an error on my slide. I apologize. R1 and Jackson Hill, not RC2. So we are primarily in the Jackson Hill RDP. So as such, we are using the zoning that is presented there on that corridor. And you can see, I won't go through all of this, but you can see that there are no variances that are listed in the drawings. Just some key points to read into the record. Our lot, which is a through lot, is 11,323 square feet. Our total building area proposed is 63,587 square feet, and that's a 6-story building permitted, as Mr. Harrington said, through the redevelopment plan. The occupancy, it's a mixed-use building, so we have R2, which is a typical multifamily residential occupancy. There's a modest parking garage, as well as retail and gym space, which is listed M for mercantile. Lot 13 is the R1 area. That's about 4,715 feet. And Lot 2 is about 10,000, which is lots, 10, 14, and 15 is in the Jackson Hill redevelopment plan, and that's 6,608 square feet. The building height is 6 stories, 65 feet. As of right, we are proposing 70 residential units broken down into 21 studios, 39 one-bedrooms, 9 two-bedrooms, and a 3-bedroom. That 3-bedroom is the affordable unit, which is required by UHAC and is on the, which is in the building. I'll show you where that is. There's obviously an elevator proposed in a building like this. It's completely ADA accessible. Our first floor is composed of a residential lobby, bicycle storage, mailboxes, trash room, parking garage, retail space, and utility rooms. We are providing bike storage for 36 bicycles. And there is a common roof deck that's actually quite large at over 4,700 square feet that I'm looking forward to showing you. The site plan here really shows the through lot condition. You can see that we do have parking access, which is that blue triangle in the back off Harrison Avenue. We are anticipating a transformer vault will be required here. We're showing that also on Harrison. And the majority frontage on Communipaw, which is the primary street in this case, we show as retail. And you'll note even in the site plan, we're showing 3 triangles, 3 doors. And since this is quite a large retail space, we do think it may actually make sense to subdivide it. So we may have 1 large space, we may have 2 spaces. It can be subdivided into a maximum of 3 spaces here. The residential entry is just to the right of that. That's the red triangle. So you see how the site plan is kind of broken up. And I do want to talk a little bit about the sidewalk. So if you just saw that part that got shaded, that is an 8-foot piece of private property that we are dedicating as part of the right-of-way per the redevelopment plan. The redevelopment plan requires a 15-foot sidewalk, and if you don't have that on Communipaw, which we don't, we need to cut into our site. I will say, and you'll notice this, the building does project over portions of the sidewalk that we are utilizing on our property, giving back to make that width. And the total property, total sidewalk width, is, I think, 15 feet 3 inches, so we're just over that requirement. Site lighting, I don't need to go into this that much, but it's a series of downlights and up-down sconces that are located on the front and back of the building. And then we, as customary, have a bike and trash removal plan. We like talking about all of the trash will be removed on Harrison. It will be taken out on collection days only. And there's plenty of storage in the building for trash and recycling until collection days. And it will be a private hauler with a building this size. The bike room you can see is right behind the trash room. And you can see the bike path is also through the rear of the building onto Harrison. And there's a little diagram in the to the right of the trash and recycling, including a compactor, as well as the hanging bike storage as well. Now, I talked about that retail. The retail is coded here in green. It's quite a large space, and as I suggested, we may end up subdividing it. I just wanted to get that on the record, depending on the kinds of tenants that will be sought here. You can see the residential lobby next to it. We have an elevator and stair core behind that, as well as a second stair core that accesses directly to Harrison Avenue. Now, the floor plans more or less stack. I'll show you one instance where there's difference in the 3-bedroom. Each of the floor plans that are common have 4 studios that range in size between 399 and 460 square feet. 8 one-bedrooms that range in size between 569 and 678 square feet, and 2 two-bedrooms which are between 1032 and 1040 square feet. So I would address the board that these are pretty common sizes for units that I think are in this market. The third floor plan is the unique plan in that rear corner, if you see my mouse here, we've coded gray the 3-bedroom unit. That will be a dedicated affordable unit per the developer's agreement that has been arrived at with JCRA. And you can see in my chart or my list up above that the 3-bedroom is a very large unit. It's 1,235 square feet. Again, this is the only unique floor plan. The rest of the floors, so second and then fourth and above, stack. And it's a very clean and efficient floor plan, even though it's an L shape with a fairly minimal hallway for a building that is let's say a non-standard floor plate. So I'll just go through those very quickly. And then, so the top floor is the 6th floor, and then above that we have the roof. You can see how the roof amenities are laid out here. We do have an enclosed amenity space that is permitted by percentage. That's 1,233 square feet. You can see the stairs and elevators all provide roof access, which is required per ADA since this is a public space. We have a huge common roof deck, and what I like about this is because it's almost laid out like a barbell or something, that you can actually create different sort of private areas within this larger space, right? And so that roof deck is pavers, it's 4,773 square feet. And then you see we have a green roof with a 39-inch railing that separates it. And I noticed there was a question before. What we tend to do in the way we address our roof plans is we have a parapet that is a required height, 30 inches is the minimum. We then have green roof that forms a nice buffer. If emergency personnel had to go over the roof, there's a buffer for them to land on. And then the railing is tight to the deck space, and that's a standard 39-inch railing, right? And so we think that the plan lays out well with the enclosed roof amenity space logically kind of in the middle of the larger part of the plan. If you look right in front of stair B, we do have screened mechanical area. The appurtenance area is calculated right now at about 6%, which seems low, but I think that probably will be sufficient here. And we are screening that mechanical area with a 42-inch sound attenuated mechanical fence. Okay, so the elevations. Very simply, two-tone kind of black and white frames that accentuate smaller horizontal moves while expressing the verticality of the building. That's the kind of idea here. And so you see that we have a sort of two-tone building. The light color is a smooth cementitious hardy panel, very simple material. The smooth kind comes in 4x8 sheets that are cut and are jointed. And then the darker material is a metal panel. It's a dark bronze Alucobond panel that you can see here, or equal. And then the base of the building is faced in a brick, and it's a wire cut Glengarry brick or equal, and that's the color is burnt almond, which we think just gives a little bit of pop of color on that front facade. The rear facade, in this case, because it's a through lot, is basically using the same material. So you see that kind of two-tone framing happening that's expressing the sort of verticality of the building. However, at the base, we are using a different color. The color we've selected is Copper Tone Smooth, and you'll see why we selected that when I show you the block elevation. There's a lot more of this kind of shade of brick. Harrison is a mix of residential as well as some older kind of industrial buildings, and so you'll see that this brick tone actually is quite apparent. The sides are not much to look at. We do have a stucco product. Is Mr. Ward here? He and I have been going back and forth about this. This is a Stowe Powerwall product. And I should mention that I don't believe this is an EFS product, but EFS is permitted on non-street facing sides in the Jackson Hill plan. So I'm putting that on the record, but it's a decent product. It's a cementitious, cement-based stucco product that we're proposing here. Same on the other side elevation, and then just some detail images of our court elevation, also using that same product. And then very quickly, the block elevations, just to establish some context. So I think, as I mentioned, Communipaw, our former CA, or Commercial Automotive Corridor, east-west, really is changing in character. There's new buildings as well as some taller old buildings, as well as some smaller buildings that exist. I do think that our building does fit in with that changing nature. And equally on Harrison, you see the backs of many of those buildings. And so you could see our building here is quite simpatico in height with some of the newer structures. But when you look to the right or to the west of this elevation, you see those older masonry buildings that I was referring to before, which is why we chose that kind of copper tone brick finish, which is a little more brown. It has a little more kind of red in it, more like a conventional brick. Building section, not much to look at, 6-story building. We are maintaining the height. 2 quick axonometrics showing the massing of the building and how the windows lay out. And then as required, we have shadow studies that we've done that show that, in the summer, this building is casting shadows very similarly to new buildings around it, mostly, as you can see, back to Harrison Street at the most extreme times of day in the summer, which is generally in the evening. And I have that kind of broken down here. And then in the spring and fall, you can see that as the sun gets lower in the sky, the majority of the block gets into shadow toward the evening, but I would argue that we aren't contributing in any significant way, more so than any of the existing buildings that are of comparable height to ours. And then the winter, obviously everyone is in shade in the winter. I don't know why we show this, but it's everyone's in shade because the sun is so low in the sky, as everyone knows. And that's it. So I'll end with an image of the building again. We think this is a good project. We think this is going to be a good neighbor, and we hope the board approves it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Garber. Just a couple quick questions.
Sure.
First floor retail space, how big was that?
Yeah, I was actually going to go back to my key points. So the retail space is, one moment.
I don't think I saw it on your key
Yeah,
points. It
that's
was
right.
only on the...
Let me just zoom into the plan and we'll see it. So,
I think your next page might have.
yeah, it's this site plan.
There it
that
is.
has There we go. A second.
I think it's a little over 3,000 square feet.
3,025 square feet. Good memory, Chuck. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any room for a commercial kitchen? I don't see any ventilation.
This is
space that you
interesting
could do that.
foreshadowing for the next project I have here tonight. But could we make a commercial kitchen work here? Sure. I think basically the issue is always ventilation in a commercial kitchen. We are right on the lot line, so if we were, and again, I don't believe that the owner has engaged in much discussion with potential tenants. But you see, we do have a very large kind of multi-purpose room. We're calling it an amenity room. I imagine if there was a need for that kind of a use, we could take something out of there and make it work and vent to the side yard or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The trash chute, it's only a single trash chute going down to that compactor?
It is a single trash chute, so it's on every floor. If I zoom into, you can see that where our hall sort of tees in the back, we have just a 60 square feet, 58 square foot trash room with the compactor and the chute. We don't really need much more than that. We do have room for bins in that room, and we've done this before. And then we obviously have a larger trash chute on the ground floor where things are stored.
Sure.
The compactors, yeah, they do what they're supposed to do.
So how are recyclables handled? They're put into bins, I assume, on each floor?
They're put into bins on each floor, yeah. And so we do require that the, hopefully people are into recycling at this point, but there is a little bit of onus on the tenants. However, yes, there's room in the recycling. If you look here where I have, so we have a series of bins that we show. The compactor, we have 3 trash bins and 2 recycling bins as well for storage in the trash room located on the ground floor.
Okay, so whose responsibility is it to get that recycling down to the first floor? Building staff?
I think it would be the tenant's responsibility, and then it's taken out. But I can find out. I think the owner is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there full-time staff for the building? Maintenance staff?
Why don't I ask the owner that as well? I'm not
Sure.
quite sure. 1 second, please.
Sorry to jump in your line of questioning.
Yeah, I suspected there would be a building super, but I didn't want to speak out of turn. So yeah,
Sure.
there's a building super that'll handle all that stuff.
Okay,
Yep.
excellent.
Yep.
My last question, I always hate talking about this. What is STO? What is it actually made up of?
So you need to go to Matt's desk because I left a big sample for him there the other day.
Okay.
So Stowe is it's a manufacturer of exterior wall systems. Some EIFS, and by EIFS, it's my understanding of it's just a cementitious. It's a non-cementitious, a non-Portland cement mix for the stucco. It's cheaper, right? The Powerwall system is an 8-layer system that has an expanded polystyrene, which you always want to, best practice is to insulate the exterior of a concrete or exterior bearing wall. as well as 2 drip layers, 2 lathe layers, and I think 3 layers of a Portland cement-based troweled stucco on it. So it's a heavy,
Okay.
solid. I have to get you a sample. It's really good stuff, actually.
Where is the drip layer? Is it against the building itself, or it's
The drip layer
sounds like it's
sits-
in the middle
the
somewhere?
drip layer, there's one drip layer that sits in front of the insulation,
Okay,
and there's another drip layer that I think sits in front of the scratch coat.
okay.
Yeah,
I would love a sample of it,
it's heavy.
as long as you don't cut it in my apartment. So that's the next thing, is where is this, obviously it doesn't come in one.
Right.
It's not a panel that you put up and then stucco over the panel, correct?
It is so I don't recall exactly the size of the expanded polystyrene, but they're big panels. They're probably 4x8 or something like that. They're large panels that come in. Those panels get, in effect, Hilti gunned into like the concrete wall or whatever the substrate is if it's a framed wall.
Okay.
There's a water barrier behind that.
Sure.
And then there's the series of drip layers and scratch coats and 2 lathe layers. There's one metallic, an aluminum lathe, and then there's a plastic lathe up front for the final coat so that it can get really smooth. And we generally like seeing the trowel to be extremely fine with this stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I'm not understanding, that's assembled in the field?
It's assembled in the field.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the only condition I would want to entertain on this is that all of that material is cut inside of the building,
That's fine.
not outside.
You're
that
worried
there's
about the foam. Sure.
Yeah,
Understood.
obviously.
Understood.
So I can't believe it took me that long to get to that.
That's fine.
So.
No problem.
We had that discussion before the presentation.
Okay, good. Yeah, so,
Surprised Mr. Ward left. We've been sparring about this for months, actually. But yeah, it's all good.
okay, so the condition would be, all of the exterior STO, I don't know what we want to call it. the
Any
STO
expanded
material,
polystyrene will be cut in enclosed quarters
It'll be cut
and disposed of properly.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Okay. All right, that's it for me. Anybody
Chris,
else?
I do. On the 3-bedroom affordable unit, where is that located?
It's located on the 3rd floor. So if you look here, our 3rd floor plan, it's in the rear of the 3rd floor, that area that's gray.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep.
And that's constructed, obviously, with the same materials as the rest of the units.
100%.
Correct, yes.
All right, anybody else? Okay, thank you, Mr. Garber. We appreciate it.
Okay, then that would
Council?
complete our presentation.
Okay, thank you. Is anybody here from public that wants to comment on this application? Anyone here from public?
Chair, see no one from public. I would like to close the public portion.
What do you got, Andy?
I defer to you before after public. Just quick questions on the traffic memo.
Sure.
But-
I'm sorry.
I made a
I'll
motion
defer to you
already
on process.
Close public.
You know what? Let's close public. If there's any testimony that we feel like we need to open up public again for, we'll open it up. So, Andy, you want traffic testimony?
Just a quick question. I suppose
Sure.
I'll defer if you can answer it or want traffic testimony, but I think there's just a question in the traffic memo about loading and how the loading was proposed for the retail tenant as well as your tenants move in and move out, pick up, drop off, et cetera.
So I can answer the tenant move in, move out. If you look at the parking plan here, I just went past it. So what's interesting about this plan is I think if there's under 4, so you can't put a curb cut on Communipal, right? It's one of the streets that is not permitted. Because we are a through lot, we thought it would be nice to provide a modest amount of parking, and by modest amount, 6 spaces, right? Now, the other thing that the plan actually says, and I'm quoting from memory here, so I think I got this right, is parking lots of under 5 units or under are not permitted, right?
Spaces.
Spaces. So after speaking with the client, we thought, why wouldn't we utilize the Harrison Avenue access to create a modest garage, within Jackson Hill, the modest garage needs to be a 6-car garage because 5 and under is not permitted. So what we've done here is we've left space because there's not going to be a lot of ingress and egress. We imagine that a moving van can just kind of pull in. It will only be there for a relatively short amount of time, and you would move things in through the corridor to the elevators. And we have our traffic engineer here, but I would say that there's not going to be a lot of turnover in a 6-car garage. So I think that moving in and out could be handled quite well. I will also say that, and I mentioned this at the beginning, we are proposing a transformer vault. We're assuming that a building this tall will probably need that. If Public Service says we don't, you get a formal loading dock there, right? Because you don't need that space. But I'd rather show you a transformer vault than come back and have to ask for one later. Yeah.
Thank you. Any comments on the retail space?
Yep. So Lee, do you want to, maybe you should answer that.
Actually, give me 1 second. No, I'm going to hear from you. I love it. One more from Mr. Garber. That brings up a point for me. How tall is that garage door in the back?
It would be 10 feet. Let me just confirm that. It's at least 8. And generally, we try to make them a little bit bigger because this is not a sort of impacting street. So it is, we're at 11.6 to the top of this metal line here, so I do think that it is 10 feet, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're talking, when you say moving van, we're talking a Econoline moving van.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not like, you wouldn't bring a box truck into the building or something like
Okay,
that.
just checking.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Swearing testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
The record can state spelling name.
Lee, middle initial D as in Daniel, Klein, K-L-E-I-N.
Mr. Klein, good evening. Your license is current?
It is current.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified.
Thank you. So the question was about loading and unloading for the retail space. I think, as Mr. Garber said, we have an extra space. I think we only require 5 spaces for the 10 2-bedrooms. So we do have technically an extra space, but because of the 10-foot height, I think we could probably have the vehicle come in off of Harrison, pull into one of the empty spots, offload into the retail spaces and come out. Otherwise, we'd have to get a loading space on Communipaw.
Is there access from the parking garage to the retail space?
I think there's that hallway, right, that gets you there? Or no? Could we get access?
Yeah, we could make, that's something that should be worked out with, I'll make a note to work that out with the tenant, but certainly if a doorway is needed to provide access, that's easy enough to do.
You carve it out of the amenity space.
Carve it out of the amenity space or right between the lobby and the bathrooms, we would be able to get some space in there. But yeah, okay.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's all. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Mr. Klein. Okay, so we are going to open it up for public comment just on the testimony that we just heard. So if there's anybody here from public that wants to comment on just the previous, most recent testimony, please come on up. Anybody from public?
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Public is closed. Ben, any concerns?
No concerns. Staff finds that the proposal meets the standards of the Jackson Hill redevelopment plan and furthers the goals of providing high-density development in a transit-rich area and by providing affordable housing. Staff recommends approval, provided that the applicant agree to the conditions in the staff memo dated February 10th, 2026.
The applicant would agree to those conditions.
Great. And then there was a condition you had about the panels being cut inside. Okay, great. Yeah, staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you.
Chair would like to make a motion to approve case B 2025-0130 as presented to the board with staff recommendations and conditions.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded for approval with conditions.
Vice Chair Gongadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Wick.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Great project. Aye.
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
Commissioner Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries. All in favor.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. All right, let's call item 13, case P2025-0144, preliminary and final major site plan for 500 Washington Boulevard. She's not leaving. She's got to go? Just give us 1 second, council.
Yeah, you want to set up? Yeah, go ahead. I was going to ask you to do that. I didn't realize you were following me up. There's others over here too. See, just- There we go.
Okay, go ahead, council. I could listen to this all night. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Thomas Garlick from Murphy, Schiller, and Wilkes in Newark on behalf of the applicant Newport Associates Development Company. We're here tonight seeking preliminary and final site plan approval to reconfigure traffic flow and parking at the property located at 500 Washington Boulevard, also known as Block 2804, lots 52 and 53 on the tax map of the city of Jersey City. The property is located in the waterfront commercial zone of the Newport redevelopment plan. The proposed application seeks to address traffic flow by slightly altering the egress and ingress driveways leading from Washington Boulevard to provide safer movement for vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists. In addition to the change of the vehicular traffic movement, we're also proposing to reorient the parking spaces on the pier to provide 36 parking spaces, as well as the addition of bicycle parking pursuant to the terms of the redevelopment plan. I'd like to note that there's no variances associated with the application. We're in receipt of the board professional reports, and we're happy to address them tonight. We're in agreement with them as well. For you tonight, we have two witnesses planned. We have our civil engineer, Connor Ritter, to review the site plan, as well as go over some general traffic testimony. We also have our traffic engineer, should we need more specific testimony if the board would require that. We also have our professional planner to provide some brief testimony as to how the proposed application supports the redevelopment plan. Just as a point for procedure, we had submitted a revised, this matter was originally scheduled in 2025 and it's been carried to today. We had, in that interim, submitted a revised civil set to the board in advance of 10 days before the hearing date today. But due to a technical issue, the plans weren't actually made available to the public. So we're going to present those revised plans tonight as an exhibit. The revisions just address the board review letters. They don't change the plans overall. If the board is okay with it, we'd like to use that exhibit rather than our original civil drawing, and our engineer will go over the original proposals and then address the revisions that were provided based on the professional review letters, just to make things simple rather than going over two site plans.
Sure,
Counsel.
so, go ahead. You're getting paid. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm here.
Yeah, you might as well.
Council, I believe those revisions were the addition of bike racks to the site plan. Is that fair?
Yes, there is another, I'll call it hardscape change, which is de minimis impervious coverage, which our civil engineer will address. But the revisions really were to address the professional review letters and show compliance with those requests.
So, Chairman, it's common practice elsewhere that you would make those revisions and submit them to the board in response to the review letters, but our more frequent applicants tend not to be as diligent, and they wait until after the application. So in light of what those changes are, I think it's appropriate to allow them to discuss those and to detail those. So unless anybody has any objection to that.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the changes being made prior to the meeting, so. Yeah, let's see them.
Thank you, Chair. And we'll make clear so that the board is well aware of what those changes are.
All right, thank you.
With that, I'd like to start with our first witness. And just on a point of noticing, we had previously submitted all of our proof of notice to the planning department back in December when we were originally scheduled, and we've been carrying with the preservation of notice since that date. Thank you. So I'd like to call Con Ritter, our civil engineer, to provide testimony on the site plan.
So counsel, for the purpose of the record, I usually mark the notice as A1. I notice have you pre-marked these or the blank on the exhibit itself, but.
We can mark this whatever you want.
Yeah,
All
we
right, so
happy to mark it A1 if that
notice will be A1.
That's fine.
And we will mark this exhibit as A2, and obviously we'll describe and detail it, and then any other exhibits will mark accordingly.
Thank you.
Sure.
Swearing testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
For the record, can you state and spell your name?
Connor Ritter, Connor Ritter.
Mr. Ritter, good evening. Your license is current tonight in New Jersey?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You're qualified.
Great. Good evening, members of the board. I'm front here. I'd like to first start by submitting this aerial exhibit as an exhibit that has not previously been seen by the board. This exhibit shows the surrounding area here, as well as the project site. To introduce you to the project site, this is the Marina Park and Marina Pier at 500 Washington Boulevard, as seen at the center of the page. The Marina Park is along the west-hand side, adjacent to Washington Boulevard, and then, of course, we have the pier extending into the Hudson River from there. Moving in, I have a rendering of what we are proposing for the site. As Mr. Garlick noted, the application here tonight is for traffic circulation and parking improvements on the project. So we'd like to submit this rendering exhibit for consideration of the board.
Mark
Sure, let's mark
it as A3.
Council A3.
Yes, A3.
Great. Yeah, so as mentioned, this is for parking and traffic circulation improvements. Along the top left-hand side of the page, this is a closer-up view of the Marina Park area, where there is an existing drive aisle, two-way access onto the pier itself. At present, there is a landscaped island at the start of the driveway access where it meets Washington Boulevard. But as we continue towards the pier, that melds into just a wide paved drive aisle with two-way traffic. What we're proposing to do with this area is we're proposing to continue and extend that landscaped island separating the two lanes to provide traffic calming and a little bit of protection between lanes to better define that. In addition to that, we're also proposing a couple stop signs and a couple speed bumps to help further slow traffic and promote safe pedestrian travel, as there is the crosswalk along the waterfront walkway, as well as a crossing through the middle of the park there. Additionally, with this area, we're looking to improve the left-hand turn into the southern drive aisle that extends kind of diagonally south. If you can see where my cursor is pointing here, this drive aisle here, for use of valets for the Batello's restaurant at the end of the pier. This will allow valets to safely make a more proper right-hand or left-hand 90-degree turn to this drive aisle to then reach the traffic signal at Washington Boulevard, where they can cross to the south parking lot opposite of the traffic light. Continuing further down on the pier, We're proposing to restripe the pier itself to provide additional parking spaces. Under existing condition, there's 30 parking spaces. We're looking to increase this count to 36 parking spaces just by optimizing the dimensionality of it, providing more perpendicular parking as opposed to the parallel parking that's there today. And with this as well, we are improving pedestrian circulation, providing wider pedestrian areas, a formal crosswalk through the midsection of the pier, and stripping off a handful of areas to narrow down the drive aisle to more appropriate widths for traffic circulation. As mentioned, we receive comment in the staff report that requested 16 bicycle spaces be provided as part of the project. We've revised these plans to do just that. We are proposing six of those bicycle parking spaces adjacent to the walkway and the crosswalk within the striped areas to either side of the drive aisle to promote parking near the waterfront walkway as well as the marina access that's there. Further down the pier, we have an additional 8 bicycle spaces in the striped area here, once again in proximity to the adjacent businesses and the dock in this area. And then finally, we have those last 2 parking spaces down at the end, adjacent to the ADA stripe space at the Botello's restaurant entrance there. The other comments we received from traffic engineering were regarding material and for the crosswalk. So we are proposing a brick crosswalk for the waterfront walkway to match in kind with the style that is existing there with the kind of the railroad striping or railroad pattern of brick that crosses along there. And then additionally, there will be a similar crosswalk proposed at the midpoint of the drive aisle where the Parks walkway crosses the driveway. Yeah, as mentioned, it's an as-of-right application, and we're requesting no waiver on that. Yeah, any questions?
Up to you, Chairman.
Yeah, this is your wheelhouse here.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Sorry, we just want
one last inclusion with this as well. The applicant is proposing a concrete pedestal in the park area for the purpose of a future art sculpture installation in that park, and with it there is decorative landscaping accompanying it.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Awesome. So the first question, I guess, is regarding the crosswalk treatment that you. I'll read what's kind of in the memo and share my interpretation of it, and then I think it says the applicant proposes crosswalk striping across the Hudson Riverfront walkway at the start of the pier. For context of this location, the division suggests carrying the existing walkway design and or decorative stamped concrete treatment that emphasizes this is a pedestrian priority area without needing more traditional crosswalk striping. So my interpretation of that would be that not to have the outline of a crosswalk in a decorative brick, but the entirety of the walkway continue, kind of in the way that makes it clear to a vehicle crossing that this is a Hudson River walkway or a pedestrian area. I don't know if that was considered or just your interpretation differed.
Yeah, we're happy to work with the department on the exact specifics of material and pattern for that. We want to ensure that this area is distinct in some fashion from the rest of the waterfront walkway to ensure that on the pedestrian side of things, they recognize that this is an area that cars will travel through. So we do want the design to differentiate at least slightly to indicate that better.
I appreciate that, and I don't envy whomever would have to maintain bricks laid in asphalt. That certainly could be a challenge. So I think, if you're willing to work on that, I think we could resolve that. One other question, where the Can you just point out kind of the pedestrian areas for those walking to the restaurant on the pier and what that pathway would be from Washington Boulevard?
Sure. So from Washington Boulevard, you follow along the south side of the property here, where you cross through the Fountain Plaza, continuing along to the waterfront walkway, heading north along the walkway. You then make that right turn onto the pier. At the start of the pier here, there is a set of gates that then allow access onto the pier, and then as you kind of hug that side to the south side of the pier, there is a continuing walkway for pedestrian travel that, as I continue down to the bottom side where it extends, that pedestrian travel is stays consistent along the south side until we reach the midpoint of the pier, where the crosswalk is proposed to allow travel crossing there, and then continue along the north side of the pier to the restaurant at the far end.
Thank you. Is there any separation between that pedestrian walkway and the active travel lane?
What's striped out is the pedestrian walkway, I believe, as noted here, is about 7 feet wide. We, at this moment, haven't proposed any sort of physical barriers in that space. But we have provided kind of a wider walkway for the pedestrian side of it.
Yeah, I would just, from my personal experience, if there's space in which a car could pull off and park, they often are tempted to do so. So if there's any way to protect the intended space for pedestrians, whether it's a curb or delineators, but something to separate the moving traffic from the pedestrian walkway, if you'd be so amenable.
Sure, we can consider that and look into that.
Great. And then one other question I had, back towards your exiting traffic, if you could show that area where the exiting traffic would reach the traffic signal.
Sure.
Could you just describe any sort of signage to help clarify to the vehicles which way to go in which?
Sure. So the generally traffic continuing off from the pier itself is going to stop before it reaches the waterfront walkway. Before crossing there, there is a speed bump proposed partway down that exit aisle, and then a second stop before you reach the pedestrian crossing midway through the park. And then most vehicular traffic is intended to continue directly to Washington Boulevard here. In the case of valet traffic, there is a break in the landscaped median between lines that allows for that left-hand turn action to then continue down this existing drive lane to the signaled intersection there.
I see. So that's intended for valet, not for public use.
Correct.
Gotcha. Thank you. And then the only last question I have is back to the bike parking. Is that in any way blocking? I see the hatched area separating the waterfront walkway from that designated pedestrian area. Is the bike parking blocking that pedestrian movement, or is there space in there for both bikes to park and pedestrians to access that pedestrian space?
Well, there should be space there for both to exist at the same time.
Gotcha. So there would be sufficient width for pedestrians
Correct.
or ADA access to go through that area without being encumbered by the bike parking or parked bicycles.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
So, Mr. Ritter, looking into the pedestrian access in the drive aisle, looking into it after the application is going to work. So let's even if we need a 5-minute break, something like that, can you talk it over with your client, and we can try and come to a conclusion before we, move on with anything?
Chair, if I may, on Mr. Kaplan's question about delineators or a curb or something like that,
Yes.
is that the question?
Yes.
So the applicant would agree if the board would find it favorable to, let's say, a berm kind of along that white line where we're already showing the divider that's also painted to show kind of a division, but also a physical division that's raised and is more obvious to a driver.
Yes.
As opposed to a formal curb, which I think might create some issues with maintenance and things like that. But a berm that's raised up off the surface of the roadway, the applicant would be agreeable to that.
A concrete berm? What are we talking about?
Yeah, what's a berm?
Yeah, let's.
Sorry, I'm from,
Let's define berm.
Bergen County, so we do things differently than curbs. I
I
apologize.
haven't lived
So
in Bergen County since '88, and that's the last time I heard berm. So
In '88, all right. So a berm would be a deposit of asphalt that's raised in a semicircle, three-dimensional. I'm not an engineer, so I apologize. But it's like a small speed bump, not a speed bump, but a small speed bump that would run the length of the line. Do you want to?
Kind of like a rounded curb.
Correct. Yeah, all right. Our traffic engineer will testify to the best
So
way
counsel,
to
just
address.
before we move on from that, and I'm just curious, is there a reason why the pedestrian walkway is on the south and not on the other side of those head-on parking spaces where you are crossing halfway down the pier?
The walkway was set on the south side where there's better width given the existing light fixtures that are running along the pier there.
Where are the light fixtures?
There's a series of existing light fixtures that run along the north and south side of the pier. The light fixtures on the north side of the pier are inset a little bit further, obstructing more of that drive aisle. Meanwhile, the ones on the south side are fewer and also much closer to the edge, allowing for a wider clear width for that pedestrian walkway.
So I think if you put the walkway to the north, it would push everything further south.
You'd
and
end up
limit the amount of space that we could use.
Yeah,
on the pier.
you'd end up with with less of a clear width for the pedestrians on the north side, as well as you'd end up. I know this one shows better. You'd end up further offset from the centralized gate and crossing into the drive aisles, continuing in. At the moment, you have to you have to move further to the south as you drive onto the pier. But our traffic engineer can also speak to the circulation a bit more there as well.
So it's a factor of how it aligns with the remainder of the drive aisle, the driveways at the end of the pier.
Correct.
Okay, let's bring your traffic engineer up then, if there's no other questions for this witness. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. We'll have Andrew Vicio, our traffic engineer, now testify.
Yes, I do. Andrew Vicio, V as in Victor, I-S-C-H-I-O.
Mr. Vicio, good evening. Your license is current?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified.
So I just wanted to briefly answer the one question regarding the separation of vehicular traffic and pedestrian traffic. Currently, what's being proposed is a solid white stripe along the length of that pedestrian path. It's understood that that there's a desire for a physical barrier. So the approach that we would take here is use some of the materials that are commonly used for protecting bike lanes. One type of material that's commonly used is something called a zebra barrier, which essentially looks like a truncated wheel stop that is black in color with white stripes that could be placed intermittently along the length of the where you see the white line today. Placing it intermittently wouldn't affect drainage in any way. It would serve as a protection from vehicles potentially parking on top of the pedestrian path. So obviously we're willing to work with the Department of Infrastructure on the exact material, but that's an example of something that I think would be very successful here.
Sure.
Great, thank you.
Andy, you agree?
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
think
Just
that
a
works.
Physical barrier would be great.
Okay, so we'll add a condition to any approval or denial that we give tonight. We'll add a condition to add that zebra barrier along the length of any pedestrian walkway going down the pier.
The only question I'll just ask Mr. Vecchio for his opinion, he mentioned it's intermittent. I don't think there's a preference, but for drainage purposes, it'd be a little bit better for it to be intermittent as opposed to the entire length.
Yeah, that makes
Yes.
sense.
That was the only point I just wanted to make, to
Okay,
clarify.
yeah, that makes sense to make it intermittent.
As long as the gaps in between are less than a
Very
vehicle
reasonable,
would-
yes.
Yep. So I think we can.
Less than a car width,
I
certainly.
think we can figure that out.
Right.
Yep.
Perfect.
Just being clear for the record, that's all.
Okay, so
Yep.
do we work with infrastructure on that or planning staff?
That would be
It'd be
my
infrastructure.
recommendation. Infrastructure, yeah.
Infrastructure? Okay. Okay, great. Anybody else, any questions?
The only other question, I guess, going back to the memo, is there any treatment on the crosswalk further west? So not the waterfront walkway, but what's shown kind of on the left in between those other stop bars?
Yeah, the midway point of that drive aisle, we are, correct. We are certainly willing to work with the Department of Infrastructure to implement the same type of treatment that we were working out along the waterfront walkway. So everything that you said before regarding working with the Department of Infrastructure for that location would apply to that mid-block location as well.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vecchio.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Council,
you.
is that your presentation?
We have a professional planner to provide a 1-minute summation.
Sure.
Just if he's here, if he's good. Just very briefly, not
Sure,
to use
not a problem.
the board's time. Mr. Ricci, yeah, sure.
Yes, I do. Sure, my name is Thomas Ricci. Last name is spelled R-I-C-C-I, licensed professional planner.
Mr. Ricci, and that plan, that license as a planner is current tonight and in good standing?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified.
Yeah, so it's a very straightforward application. We're variance-free tonight. I concur with the comments in the planning review letter that also said no variances and we meet the goals of the plan. What we're proposing here tonight is traffic, circulation, parking, landscaping improvements, pedestrian safety, traffic calming. Those are all goals that are laid out in the redevelopment plan. So I think that this plan, not that there's anything detrimental to the site prior, but I think this is an even better site plan than exists now, and it's fully compliant. And as planners, we look to these things. We look to improved landscaping, improved traffic circulation and functionality, pedestrian safety, pedestrian connections from the park to the waterfront. This checks all of those boxes from a planning standpoint. So there's no variance criteria that I need to weigh, and that sums up the planning.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. No, we have nothing further. We'd ask the board to act favorably on the application with the conditions that have been agreed to tonight.
Okay, thank you. So, is anybody here from public that wants to comment on this application? Anyone from public?
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
All right, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Cam, anything you want to add?
Well, firstly, planning, just going to reiterate that the applicant and their attorney have agreed to the conditions in the planning memo, the forestry comments, and the transportation memo. But we are adding a condition for the boundary to be implemented working with the Department of Infrastructure. So that will be the 7th condition, omitting the condition in the memo about the 16 parking spaces for the bicycles, and replacing that will be the condition for the divider for the pedestrian walkway. Planning staff is satisfied with the testimony regarding the comments. All of them have been addressed. The planning testimony is true. There are no variances here. It meets objective C2 of the redevelopment plan. And as someone who's walked to this restaurant personally, I can say that it is going to be a welcomed change to the neighborhood. And with that, planning staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you, Cam.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case P 2025-0144 as presented to the board together with staff recommendations and additional conditions.
Second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval with conditions.
Acting Vice Chair Gongadin,
Aye.
Commissioner Wick,
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel, and Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor with conditions.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, council. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break real quick, everybody.
Yes, Chairman. We
And
received.
come back to order again, everybody, please.
Yes, Chairman, I just received correspondence that item 18 on the agenda, case P23-043, address 300 Communipal Avenue, a preliminary and final major site plan with C variances, is requesting to adjourn with preservation of notice to May 26th.
18. So item 18 is going to be carried to May 26th with preservation of notice. Anything else so far, Cam?
No, Chairman, that's it.
Okay, because we are going to swap item 17. The same applicant also has a case on item 23. We're going to swap those two cases. So, to be honest, anybody that's waiting for anything tonight still, we probably don't get through that third application. So we're going to do item 15, 16, and 23. So if anybody wants to carry anything at this point, that's after that.
And of course, Chairman, people are more than willing and allowed to stay and see.
Sure.
But my best guess is we've got 3 applications left this evening, so let's stop wasting time and let's hear from Mr. Gerber.
All right, so let's call item 15 as case P2025-0106, is a preliminary and final major site plan amendment for 342 Johnston Avenue. Good evening, council.
Good evening, Commissioners. Rebecca Mariello, Connell Foley, on behalf of the applicant 342 Johnston Equities, LLC. They are the owner of the property located at 342 Johnston Avenue, which is located in the Lafayette redevelopment plan. By way of background, the applicant received preliminary and major final site plan approval from this board in 2019 to construct a mixed-use building with 55 residential units, inclusive of 9 affordable units and 14 parking spaces. There have been some amendments throughout the years to make for a better project. We increased the unit sizes at one point, made modifications to the rooftop, things like that. And we're back tonight to make some final adjustments to the project, which are inclusive of modifying the trash compactor room, enlarging the enlarging the package room. We are removing 2 parking spots from this project. So instead of 14 parking spaces, it's going to be 12. I will note that we are required to provide 12 parking spaces, so there's no variance relief needed. Additionally, we are reducing the bicycle count from 54 bicycle spaces to 30. And per the redevelopment plan, we are only required to provide 28 bicycle parking spaces. Also, a lot of these changes come out of a tenant that this applicant has secured for the retail space, which is a Korean barbecue restaurant. So we're going to hear things about changing the exhaust and other mechanical aspects about the project to accommodate this restaurant. We are in the receipt of a staff report dated March 19th, 2026. We will comply with all the conditions therein. And I just wanted to note for the record, we have executed an affordable housing agreement with the Division of Affordable Housing, which has been recorded in the Hudson County Register. And with that, I'm going to present my witness, Mr. Garber. Oh, I'm sorry. And this is a notice case. Council, if I may tender the notice as A1.
Again, nothing in the slideshow differs from the drawings that were submitted. This could be marked A2.
I think your mic's off, Rich.
As I said, this is a slideshow. The slideshow contains no information that differs from what was submitted in the drawings. We can mark this A2. This slideshow has 32 slides, but I just amended it down to 21 in the interest of time.
Okay, just give us 1 second. We'll do notice, then we'll mark the slideshow.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to receive the affidavit of publication proof of mailing with respect to the application at 342 Johnston Street. It does appear to be in order, so that will be A1 for purpose of the record. And then we can mark Mr. Garber's slideshow as A2 for purpose of the record. And of course, Mr. Garber, you'll submit that after the hearing to planning.
And if we could just let the record show that Mr. Garber has already been sworn in, is under oath tonight, and has already been qualified. So the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Board, for hearing us. I feel a little guilty because we've been before you a bunch with this project, and I think either the 2021 time or the 2023 time, I sort of promised you all that I wouldn't be back here again for this project, and here we are. But in every instance, it has bettered the project, and the project has evolved. We first started on this project in 2016. There was a U-Haul station here, and now there's a building. This was the rendering that was previously shown. This is the building today, nearly done. We are following the drawings. My team does make regular visits to this site, and it is, I'm happy to say, built per plan. That said, just to take you through and remind you of the site, this is a corner site. It's just under 10,000 square feet on Johnston and Whiten, again, a former U-Haul. This is in the Lafayette Park redevelopment plan. And there's just a number of modest changes here. Rebecca had mentioned them. I've highlighted the ones or bolded the ones that are of note. One, we've gone from 14 spaces down to 12 spaces in the parking garage. 12 spaces were always what was required, given the number of two-bedroom units we've proposed, and we've taken them down to allow for a modest expansion for the retail space, as that also required a kind of reorganization of the egress path. So that's where those two parking spaces went. You see the commercial space has increased from 2,289 square feet to 2,476 square feet, and inclusive in this kind of cut to make larger retail, we reduced the bike parking from 55 bikes to 30 bikes, again, still compliant. So the zoning tabulation remains as it was, fortunately. But you do see here that I am highlighting the change in bike parking and the change in off-street parking for the record, right? I mentioned I decreased the slideshow. I had individual plans. I'm just showing the approved and proposed plans next to one another. So the first floor plan, you're seeing the majority change is really in the expansion of the retail space, which is green. You see that we took the bike parking space and relocated it over into the parking area. It's probably better there anyway, actually. And we're able to give that back to the commercial space. The only thing that triggered in moving the bike parking is we had to make a corridor, which you see, if I move my mouse here, this corridor is new, a new egress corridor from the parking area that wasn't there before, right? So modest plan changes, but what this does is it increases the amount of square footage in that retail space by about 200 square feet, a little less than 200 square feet. And that was meaningful to the tenant. The tenant, there's a lease signed, as Rebecca had mentioned, is a Korean barbecue. They have at least one other spot in Fort Lee, I think, and are very excited to move down here. I ride my bike in this neighborhood all the time, and I really think that a proprietor like that will really further enliven the street. And so I think it's a really great use. It's just required us to do some changes. So I've gone through the majority of them. This is our second floor plan. The resiliency space and all that sort of stuff stays the same. What we are adding here, because Korean barbecue is actually intensive, so Mr. Chairman, this is when we were talking about this before, we've added 2 additional chimneys that you see here in the corner and they are outside the building because the majority of the building, is built, and so we had to put them outside. So that also required that we redesign the rear patio on the second floor, which is above the parking. So this is a corner, this is a rear corner setback, and you can see how that is reimagined. As we go through the upper floors, there really is no change with the exception of these chimneys that you still see. I've called them out in every plan. The affordable units stay the same. The unit count stays the same. There's really no significant change to the unit layouts as well. And that takes us up. The 7th floor, we have that 65% setback. You see that we are maintaining a common alignment in this wall, even though we are setting back the rest, or a majority of the rest. And you can still see these chimneys here. And we've added a little bit more detail in terms of the roof areas as well. 8th floor plan. And then the roof deck. Again, just a little bit further detail in here. The roof deck actually does grow slightly. It moves from about 1,572 square feet to 2,178 square feet, while we are still maintaining the amount of green roof required, which is 770 square feet. We've just kind of moved that to the front of the building, and you can see that there. So modest change. Not much in the way of elevation change. There was a little bit more metal panel on the facade that has been removed, but the metal panel that still is operating in terms of fresh air intake and stuff is all there. So you see that. Side facades are exactly the same. You see that here. And then the rendering of the building, and then I just have a couple of other photos that I took, I think on Sunday, just looking at the thing. We think it's a good-looking building. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Garber. So just so we're clear, none of these changes have been made yet, correct?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, I have held them off on the ground floor. So if you walk in there, the ground floor is still an open space. It's not finished at all.
Okay.
I have met with, they have an interior designer or something like that for the barbecue place. I have reviewed some plans from them, but nothing's been done. It's just the course of construction that you see here today. And it's all obviously been permitted as well.
Okay, so that view we're looking at right now, that's not that new egress door on the left side on the ground floor?
That is a great question. That corridor is not made yet here. So this is all open. And if you look back at our facade, there's a little bit of a wider column that has been constructed here. I guess they did do that, actually. Good. That's a very good catch.
Okay, so they put the egress door in, just haven't finished.
It's not, I don't even think I don't think it's a final door yet. They have the storefronts in. And I think that this is just black painted plywood or something at this point. And it was important for me to show you the building as it is currently.
Okay, can you zoom into that doorway or that?
Sure.
It's a doorway with an exit sign above it, correct? With a reflection in the window.
This is a security camera that I think was always supposed to be there. I don't know if that's an exit sign.
There's a security camera at the...
On the outside of the building. That was always imagined.
No, on the inside. So if you look at
Talking about the transom.
Here. Right?
I can't see
where
your
I'm
cursor.
circling. I'm sorry.
Well, now we can.
Correct.
Here.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that an exit sign?
I don't know exactly what that is, to be honest with you.
Okay, tell you what we're going to do is I can get over there on Thursday. I'm going to carry this application right now.
That's fine.
I'm going to get over there and look at that exit sign, if that's a doorway.
Fair enough.
And we'll take it from there. Cam, it's up to you when we want to carry this to. Because I have no patience for doing work that isn't approved.
Fair enough.
So I don't care if it's June at this point. I think we're probably at June.
May 28th, 26th is still open, but
Okay. So we're going to carry this to a date certain, May 26th.
Fair enough.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Let's call item 16, case P2025-0233. Is a site plan amendment for 3 New York Avenue. I believe we have a conflict. Commissioner Wick, you have to
Yeah, I have
recuse
to
yourself
recuse
on this?
myself.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, council.
Good evening. Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. Robert Vertibello from the law firm of Connell Foley on behalf of the applicant. This is a de minimis modification to an already as-built building. This building was completed in 2024, and a certificate of occupancy was issued. The purpose of this application is now that the building is up and running, we are making the applicant is making or proposing a modification to the number of parking spaces. Specifically, there'll be an increase of 17 parking spaces, some of which are compact spaces, which is the primary reason why we have to come before you, as compact parking spaces require planning board approval. A couple of cleanup items. I noticed on the agenda, it listed the number of units as 340. It's actually 336. None of that has changed. This was an as-of-right approval when it was done. It remains an as-of-right approval. We just didn't want any confusion with that. And the total number of parking spaces we are proposing will increase from 206 to 223, which is an 8% increase, which falls below the threshold of substantive change. However, as I stated earlier, since it involves compact spaces, we have to appear before you this evening. We did provide notice in accordance with the land development ordinance. That's been uploaded to the portal, and I have a copy of the notice here this evening.
Thank you, counsel. Chairman, I received the affidavit of publication proof of mailing with respect to the application at 3-25 New York Avenue. It does appear to be in order. We're going to mark it A1 for the record.
Thank you, counsel.
One other note on the notice, since this is within 200 feet of Hoboken, we also received a mailing list from the city of Hoboken and have provided notice to the Hoboken city clerk. I only have one witness here this evening, a fact witness, Mr. Robert Giannone, who's a member of the applicant, who can take the board through the proposal. Essentially, it's a reconfiguration of the already existing parking space.
Okay, thank you, counsel.
I do. Robert Giannone, R-O-B-E-R-T, Giannone, G-I-A-N-N-O-N-E.
Mr. Giannone, good evening. Your license is current tonight?
No license.
Oh, I'm
He's a
sorry.
fact
You're a
witness.
fact witness. I apologize. I'm still thinking about the last.
Totally fine. So as Mr. Vertibello said, we look at this requested amendment representing a nominal increase of the parking spaces, 17 total from 206 to 223 for our 336 unit building, which has been fully constructed, operational, TCO'd for 2 years now. As such, we've been closely monitoring parking utilization and traffic conditions all along the way, and we feel like this nominal increase really helps us achieve the demand that we're currently seeing. There's no change to the building footprint, orientation, or the sizing of the main drive, or the sizing of the garage itself. Really, this is a striping exercise, and what we would intend to do is achieve the 17 spaces via strategic restriping, the use of parallel and angled parking spaces, compact spaces, 12 of which will be compact, as well as the use of 5 tandem spaces. All the revisions would meet the required dimensioning as required in the LDO. The way that we've always looked at this with traffic and engineering has been that we provided a main drive as well as 2 points of access and egress in our building for flexibility. We're the last property before Hoboken. We're down the hill from New York Avenue. We always knew that there would be, it would be a little bit of a learning curve. So back in 2019, through the preliminary site plan approval, the final site plan approval in 2020, as well as our amendment. All along the way, we've been chatting with the Division of Engineering to ensure that they are fully satisfied with the functionality of our building. 2 years now in operation. We haven't had any complaints. We haven't had any issues. All we're really here asking for is for the 17 additional spaces really to meet current demand.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, anybody?
Chairman, real quick, just I see there was a transportation memo. I was wondering if you could respond to those points.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
So in terms of the transportation demand management strategies, so we do have a shuttle service which has been really successful. So we have a shuttle service. It's a 25-seat bus. It runs from 6 to 9:15 a.m. and then it also runs from 5 to 7 p.m. And as demand has switched over, depending on our tenancy, we also adjust that as well. That's been very successful. We have taken a survey of our building in regards to whether or not a car share would be successful. Unfortunately, car share seems to be something that's a little bit on the outs. We won't poo-poo it for the entirety of our ownership of this building. We're open to it, but it's something that at this point in time does not seem to be in demand. And then in regards to, we do have rentable scooters. We do have 168 bike racks, which are well in use, which is great, and that's the requirement, and that's what we installed. So from a TDM standpoint, we feel like we're achieving everything we possibly can be doing. From an accessible parking change standpoint, hold on, let me zoom in. So in order to achieve some of these compact spaces, we have relocated a couple of the accessible spaces, but we find that it actually is really beneficial to this building in regards to spreading out the accessible spaces to the various elevator banks. So we have 3 elevator banks, and therefore the relocation of these 2 in particular to the main lobby elevator bank has actually been what we looked at as an oversight from our initial approval. We feel like that's pertinent to have 2 there, and then the 3 remaining at in between the 2 other elevator banks. And the final is signage. So this one parallel space that we are showing here, this parallel space impacts our ability to have a 2-way drive aisle. So traffic just wants to ensure that we appropriately provide the correct signage for it being one way. We could totally do that. We already have bought the sign. We're ready to install it upon approval.
But it has not been installed yet.
It's
What I
not been
like to
installed
hear.
yet.
That's what I like to hear.
So one just quick follow-up. For the relocation of the ADA spaces, are you fully accommodating the ADA pathway to the elevators, curb cuts, et cetera, whatever else is needed?
Yes, we are.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, anything else, anybody? All right. Thank you,
that's
Council.
all we
That's
have.
it? Okay, is there anybody here from public that wants to comment on this application?
Chair, see no one from public. I would like to close the public portion.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Public is closed. Cam, do you have anything you want to add to this?
Just to reiterate, the applicant and their attorney have agreed to the planning staff memo conditions in the memo dated March 19th of this year.
That is correct.
Okay. Planning staff has no further comments, and we recommend approval.
Okay, thank you, Cam.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case P2025-0233 as presented to the board with staff recommendation and conditions.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval with conditions.
Acting Vice Chair Gungadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
And Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries 5 in favor, 1 abstaining.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cam. One recusal, Cam.
1 recusal. Sorry about that. Thank you. 5 in
All
favor,
right,
1 recusal.
so let's move on to, as we said before, item 23 is case P2025-0067 is a preliminary and final major site plan with C variances for 8 to 16 Lot Street and 625 to 639 Newark Avenue.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, for the record, Charles Harrington of Connell Foley on behalf of the applicant. This is a notice case, and I would like to provide the original to council.
Chairman, I received the affidavit and notice proof of mailing with respect to the application at 625 to 639 Newark Avenue, 8 to 16 Lot Street here in the city. Does appear to be the original of the notice that was posted on the portal. Does appear to be in order. And we're going to mark it as A1 for the record.
Okay, thank you, counsel.
Okay, thank you. So, just to give a quick overview, the project before you is located at the corner of Newark Avenue, Central Avenue, and then there's a smaller lot, a smaller street, Lot Street, that cuts in there that you probably don't notice too often because it almost looks like an entrance to the parking back there. But the my client has been designated as the redeveloper of this property by the JCRA. It is located, it's a split zone like the one I had earlier tonight, where part of the property is within Zone 3 and part of it is in Zone 5. Zone 5 fronts on Newark Avenue, and then Zone 3 backs up to Lot Street. And because the lot area within the Zone 3 is greater than the lot area in Zone 5, we're permitted to use the Zone 3 regulations. So what that means is, we're presenting tonight it's a 47-story building that uses the affordable housing accommodations. The total unit count is 1,049 units. So what that does is results in 105 affordable units within the project. It also has that commercial bonus floor that used to be called the office bonus floors. That's 2 floors of 15 hotel rooms. And this property is sitting across the street from what will eventually be Courthouse Park, right? That's where the current courthouse administration building is. So that's something that was really taken into consideration as part of this overall planning. We've worked extensively with the planning department, probably over a year and a half on this. We've also worked closely with the historic preservation officer, Maggie O'Neill. And part of the reason is you'll see as part of this project, the corner building, the existing corner building, we're going to keep the front facade and preserve that and restore it as part of the project. And you'll see that as part of the application and presentation tonight. There are a number of variances that we're requesting, and it has largely due to the rectangular nature of the lot. You're looking at the tower and base components. Those components kick in whenever it's above 18 stories. So obviously at 47 stories, those apply to this project. But there are no ways to comply with those because of the rectangular nature of the lot and the size of the lot. But so we are asking for relief from them, and we will, speak to that during the presentation. I can represent to you that we did present this to the local community, the Jersey City community with, I always forget the acronym for them, but Chris Lamb and that group. We have met with new Councilman Zupa on this, and as I said, we've presented to the JCRA. So, with that said, I have 3 witnesses. I'm going to start off with my engineer, Ian Burton. Then I have my architect, and then a planner to present that.
Oh, perfect timing. Yep. Well, sorry, it was a blue screen, so it just.
Try wiggling the.
Computer restarted.
Looking good for Tom Lean.
go.
Nice, nice, nice. Good start, good start.
No problem at all.
Oh, it's a lot of files.
Yeah, I can't look at something like that.
Was that?
I can't look at a screen with that many things on it.
Okay. Good. I did it.
And Ian, should we mark this as A2?
Yes.
And could you identify it for the record?
Let's get him sworn in
I'm
first.
sorry, I'm getting ahead of it.
I do. Ian Burton, IAN, BURTON.
Mr. Burton, good evening. Your license is current tonight?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You're qualified.
Now we can mark it, Mr. Harrington.
Thank you.
Identify it.
Can we identify it as A2? And if you identify it for the record, please.
That's 810 Lot Street, dated February 24th, 2026. Excuse the
A2.
It's A2.
Thank you.
Colorized site rendering, is that fair description?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can just go through some recap. The site is known as Block 8001, lots 16 through 23. It's located at 8-10 Lot Street. Consists of 0.37 acres. It's just under 16,000 square feet. Within Zone 3, the Commercial Center District Journal Square redevelopment plan. It's located on Central Avenue, which is to the south. Newark Ave is to the east. And Lot Street's to the west, and currently consists of a number of mixed use residential and retail buildings. The project proposes a 47-story building with 1,049 apartments, 26 hotel rooms, and a little over 2,000 square feet of retail space. 10% of the apartments are affordable at 105. And we have a number of variances, including building height with the roof amenities. 30 feet is permitted, but 32 feet is proposed. A tower front yard setback where 10 feet is required, but 5 is proposed on Lot Street. Setback of 10 feet is required, but 0 feet is proposed for the side yard setback. Maximum diagonal dimension is 180 feet is permitted, but 250 is proposed. Minimum retail depth is 25 feet required, but 22 is proposed on Central Ave. Loading space, there's a designated loading space, as 1 is required, but 0 are proposed. Minimum front yard setback on Central Ave is 5 feet, where 0 is proposed, and sidewalk width on Central Ave, where 15 feet is required and 10 is proposed. And that's in relation to the historic building preservation.
And that's at one section, one part, right?
Right. And a minimum number of street trees where 13 is required and 10 are proposed. There's also an existing nonconformity for the lot consolidation where 100 feet of lot depth is required, but 66 feet is proposed. Looking at this exhibit, generally the site has pedestrian access for the hotel and the residential areas in the center of Central Ave, while the retail doors are on all 3 street frontages. There's no vehicular parking proposed, but there's bike storage where half a spot per residential unit plus 4 spots per 6,000 square feet of retail is required for just over 500 spaces, but we're proposing just over 1,000 bike storage within the building and 2 external racks on Central Ave. No significant changes in grading. We're maintaining the existing curb elevations, which ranges from 97 to 100. We're not located within any FEMA flood zones, and the building will maintain the roughly the same elevations between 98 and 100. It is a major development per Jersey City and DEP stormwater management, and as such, we meet the requirements for quantity reduction during the 210 and 100-year storm via matched hydrographs. The site includes a 2,000 square foot green roof. All the stormwater will be collected via the roof leader system and discharged into the public storm sewer system off of Newark Ave. And there's also a number of utility connections for water, for domestic and fire water services off of Central Ave, and a number of sewer connections off of Newark, and coordinating with PSE&G on gas and electric. We have had a number of meetings with the MUA to coordinate to make sure that all of our connections are where they need them. And as I stated before, we have 10 trees, as shown, 2 on Lot Street, 2 on Newark, and the remaining on Central, where 13 is required, in addition to the green roof, providing some green space. We have street lighting with 11 decorative street lights and 22 building-mounted lights for the facade lighting. And that is my general presentation.
Okay, is there going to be a transformer vault somewhere down there on the first floor?
The transformer vaults are on the first floor of the building. I'm not sure if they're shown on this
We-
plan.
We can show them with the architectural.
Okay, that's fine.
And could you, maybe, Ian, before you leave, just identify Lot Street for the benefit of the board?
We've coordinated with the planning office. So this is Lot Street in this, I'm going to call it maroon area, which will coordinate with them and infrastructure on the pedestrian plaza area being proposed.
Okay. Any questions, anybody?
Chairman?
Sure, go ahead.
So, are there any other vehicular access currently from Lot Street that you're proposing to turn into a pedestrian plaza? Parking or other properties neighboring?
There are properties, like, I should back up, because the idea is to speak with infrastructure about a pedestrian plaza, but also coordinate loading activities there for the purposes of the building and for the retail. So we're not sure if that can become a fully pedestrian plaza until a future date, because my client owns property on the other side of Lot Street and is working on a future development, but vehicles need access through Lot Street to go to those parking spaces currently. So that could not be turned into a pedestrian plaza in the near future.
Wait a minute. Let's back that up. So where are we talking about the access, the parking that needs access?
You got
On
to
the
back up a
other
little
side?
further than that, I think. What are the other properties that your client owns, and what are the properties that also front on Lot Street?
If you look at Exhibit A2 and you see those cars to the left, right, of the brown area, which is Lot Street, those are all properties that my client is under contract to purchase. And those are parking spaces that get access through Lot Street.
But he doesn't own those yet.
He does not own those yet. That's why I'm saying we can't. The comment letter from the planning division was to work with infrastructure to possibly create a purely pedestrian plaza with access for loading, and I'm saying that could not happen until we address that parking over there. You can't block their access for the parking.
Well, but we could control it and then determine how we're going to develop.
Sure.
And you're the contract, or your client's the contract purchaser of those.
Correct.
Is Lot Street a city street?
Yes.
And that's being deeded to your client for this project?
Lot Street is not being deeded, no.
Being vacated?
No. It would just, we would work with conjunction with the Department of Infrastructure and the city if they wanted to create a pedestrian plaza. That's what was discussed with the Division of Planning.
Council, in discussion with the Division of Transportation Planning, they expressed a desire to potentially utilize the, there's a pedestrian plaza provision within the municipal code that doesn't involve vacating the right-of-way, but involves changing the terms of access. Obviously, that would be conditional on addressing all properties that front lot, but that would be part of the planning process. And that would require an active city council ultimately. But I believe the applicant here is addressing improvements that would support that vision.
But doesn't have the right to that vision, and I guess the question begs, what is the proposal? What am I looking at in that brick area? A portion of Lot Street?
That is the entire Lot Street, that brown area.
That is all of it?
Yes.
Correct.
So our proposal is to improve Lot Street, and ultimately the decision is up to the city whether it becomes pedestrian or stays vehicular or is a little of both. You'll see we have sidewalks, next to it. So we're just going to improve it with, I think the idea is to improve it with pavers.
Correct.
So your client is also purchasing the property across the street, right? Right next to it, to this where the cars are parked?
That's correct.
Oh.
And if I may, are these two-family homes that's where the cars are parked, or what are they?
No, those are
Medical office.
all those medical offices that front on Summit Avenue. That's the back of those offices.
Okay.
So conceptually, assuming the other access requirements of Lot Street are resolved, your client is proposing this to be a city-maintained, city-owned property, right? This would not be their property that they would be maintaining, but they would do physical improvements such as to transform it to a pedestrian plaza. Is that?
That's right. It would continue to be owned by the city, but I think ultimately if they, the city may want the property owner to maintain it. That's a future agreement. I don't know, but yes, in answer to your question, yes, it would continue to be a city-owned property that my client would provide for improvements to the street. Similar to, if you pave a street as part of a new development, you would do pavers instead of paving the street.
I don't know, it's exactly the same thing, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And Santo, if I may, so what if that purchases didn't go through, the anticipated ones?
So I'm not clear as to why this would be done in this fashion. Putting that aside, if I understand, all that council is actually proposing is to put pavers in the Lot Street right-of-way. You can't actually determine how it gets used because those other properties are allowed to use it for vehicular access, although to council's opening statement, cars park however they want over there, and nobody knows that it's actually Lot Street, and nobody seems to be in control. But I guess that may or may not change. Why aren't the other properties part of the plan if they're controlled by the same ownership group?
Well, it's a different project. This is all owned by my client. This is a project that started well before that. So that's really lagging behind, but it's not presented as something that they go together. It's separate and apart. And in Lot Street, as you said, Lot Street will be improved either through, pavers we're proposing. If the city and infrastructure said, no, we want black pavement, then that's what would be done there. And whatever the improvements are going to be made, it will define the street better. Because as I said earlier, if you go out there, it kind of blends in together. You don't know where Lot Street is and where it begins and where it ends. But ultimately, our proposal is to improve Lot Street, consistent with the direction of the city.
So I don't even want to talk about a pedestrian plaza yet until,
Fair.
yeah, let's,
Yep.
that's off in the future. We can't consider that as part of this application.
Yeah, I only brought it up because it was in the planner's report.
Sure.
And that's something that we would be willing to pursue, but
Okay.
understood.
Yeah, I don't want to dangle that out there for anybody on the board tonight, so.
Chairman, if I may, but I only would consider, are there opportunities in the future to have this developer make improvements of an undeterminate, without defining what those improvements are, but to be financially, they're making an offer to the city to create improvements on this space without defining what they are.
They can make that offer to the city all day long. They can't make that offer to the board.
Very well.
Okay. It's
Makes
two
sense.
separate entities. It has nothing to do with our decision tonight.
Makes sense.
But they are proposing to make improvements to the
To Lot Street
Lot
itself.
Street itself.
To still provide access to the cars that are parked on the left side of that photo.
Correct.
And that's the only reason to improve Lot Street right now.
Well, if I could, I think we're required to improve Lot Street.
Sure.
There's the local ordinance, there's a requirement that you have to repave streets that are adjacent to the project.
Mm-hmm.
So that, by ordinance, the applicant has to improve it one way or the other.
Sure. Okay.
It's going to be pavers. They're proposing to make that improvement with pavers to the city street to be continued as vehicular access until they can convince the city to turn it into a pedestrian plaza, if they can convince the city to do that at some future date. That's what I'm understanding. Is that fair, counsel?
That's fair. Yep.
And for what it's worth, that may or may not happen if they have to maintain vehicular access for other sites.
Yeah, in short, we're on board with it if the city wants it.
But it's not a question whether the city wants it or doesn't want it. That parking has to be removed first. That use has to be removed before we can turn over Lot Street in any other form that it exists right now.
Exactly. That's the point I was trying to make earlier. I don't know if it wasn't clear, but.
Okay, Mr. Burton, one quick question. There's 5 black dots on the bottom of that paver area. What are they?
Those were removable bollards, I think, in coordination with the planning.
Removal of bollards or
Removable
addition?
bollards, sorry.
Removable.
Correct.
Removable by who? The people that park there currently?
I guess the original concept was geared towards this project, Lot Street, so the maintenance to get access if they needed any vehicular access back there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it really, those bollards really should be dismissed and removed now, based on our conversation, that they were really installed just to show that how you could possibly make it a pedestrian plaza consistent with the comment in the planner's report.
Sure. Okay, so this exhibit, can we remove this exhibit now from the record? Because this, in the current plan, this can't be built.
Correct.
So where do we go? Where do we go from here? Do we just remove it from the exhibit? We all saw it, we all talked about it.
No, it doesn't get removed. It would have to be supplemented with a change showing the removal of those bollards. We can dictate that, those bollards cannot be installed. They can't be installed.
They can't
That's
be
city property. So I don't know, if this was supposed to be or thought to be that it was going to be a pedestrian plaza, but we've already discussed that to death.
I agree. I think we're stating on the record that, to clarify that this exhibit, that those bollards should essentially be disregarded, consistent with the discussion here tonight.
Okay, is there anything else on this drawing that has to be disregarded? Rather than wait for me to ask a question about it.
I don't think so, no.
Chairman,
Go ahead.
just one question, and perhaps this is best directed to your engineer, but does the grading and the site of the improvements you're discussing on Lot Street align with the other adjoining properties?
Yeah, I guess we didn't propose any significant grading on Lot Street, so if any changes on Lot Street would tie it into what's there now. We would not have been affecting neighboring properties. Does that answer your question?
So the current geometry of the bituminous pavement would just be replaced with pavers?
Correct.
Thank you.
Is
The grade might be going over to the left.
Is there is there a crosswalk proposed across Lot Street also? I see a space here for a crosswalk on the diagonal of that bend.
Doesn't appear proposed, and it does not appear that there's any improvement on the south side of Lot Street in terms of curbing and sidewalk.
Sure.
Do you have your plans? You showed the crosswalk in.
Yeah. So I think when we had a pedestrian plaza, we had.
But we don't have a
crosswalk.
pedestrian
We don't have a
plaza.
Sorry,
pedestrian
I
plaza.
don't want to muddying the waters. We can add a crosswalk. We have a crosswalk shown on the site plans.
Can you identify the sheet that
Sorry.
you're referring to?
So these were the site plans. It's the fourth sheet C 3.01.
And are you referring to the lower left-hand corner? And if you could maybe circle, identify where you show a proposed crosswalk?
But I guess to reiterate, there's no proposed improvements west of Lot Street. So we had our curb ramp at our corner and the crosswalk across Lot Street.
Okay, my next question is why is the curb ramp on the corner? It seems like part of that curb ramp puts you actually onto the street, not into the crosswalk.
Yeah, I guess the curb ramp should be rotated to the left, so it's in line with Central Ave.
In line with Central Ave and the crosswalk that's being proposed.
Yeah, that's
Usually how we do it here.
Yeah.
a correction I should make.
Yeah, that curb ramp would require a landing zone for the wheelchair to rotate at the bottom of it that would extend outside the crosswalk as it's shown right now.
Okay.
Can you clarify the crosswalk itself? Is that intended to be striped or paver material?
I guess we would, depending on the infrastructure department on their preference. If we're making the Lot Street pavers, I think there was some discussion or intent to have it aesthetically appealing as a crosswalk. But if it's just going to remain asphalt, we would do the typical painted crosswalk.
Gotcha. And then would there be a ADA ramp on the other side of Lot Street since you are making proposing improvements across?
I think that's a reasonable change.
Great.
Okay. So
We're making too many changes here.
do we have any drawings without the bollards? Are they on every single civil drawing or ground floor drawing or, any detail to the outside of the building?
The latest iteration that was submitted has the bollards on the plan.
On everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Commissioner?
No,
Matt,
Yeah, it's just too much.
Matt, have you seen anything that,
Believe it or not, I'm not done yet.
So I have seen and maybe procedurally this muddied things. I've been
Why not?
simultaneously been engaging in pre-application meetings with the applicant for developing the other side of Lot Street.
That was my concern.
Yes. And there is, and I agree with
can-
you, it's hard to evaluate this without
Right.
seeing both phases at once.
yeah, I mean, I know what I'm looking at. And this is a future, a pedestrian
Right.
plaza with something going on the other side that we're not seeing yet.
Yeah, well, it's again, this is a standalone. We do have an application that could come in later, but
Sure.
my client owns this property now. He's in contract to buy the other property, and we all know things can happen.
Of course.
So we can't propose something on, we wouldn't want to have both projects here where you have one that you own and one that you don't, and then we're promising something that may not happen. So that's why this is presented to you tonight. And the bollards are there, but maybe I'm being simplistic, but you would just disregard the bollards because again, it was a result of our discussions that in the event you could do it, because we would make those improvements regardless. But for the bollards, it's still going to be vehicular.
But that's not necessarily true if the only other person that benefits is the other property that your client then owns. And if he's in discussion to develop that in a certain manner, that there's no vehicular traffic, and it's going to be asked to be turned into a pedestrian plaza because we have bollards there, because that's what we're intending. So it seems to me that this project came first. Then he was maybe able to contract for these other pieces, and I understand the timeline in that it's further behind, if you will. But from a pure coordinating and planning standpoint, I think this is the inherent struggle when, we don't know, but there are ideas going on the other side of the coin.
Well, I feel like we've painted ourselves into a corner by agreeing to create the pedestrian plaza, where, simplistically we could say, well, we're just going to improve it. It's a street. We're going to improve it as in pavers or blacktop, and with curbing, like every other project, and leave it at that. We're moving forward because of the discussions that we think it's a nice idea down the future, but we can't commit to that because it's the city's ultimate decision.
Sure.
So that's where it's a street. It's where we're trying to dress it up, but it's kind of the tail wagging the dog here. But it's I think we're because we're good with the idea, but simplistically we want to improve that street how the city wants it improved.
Sure. And believe me, I don't hate the idea of a pedestrian plaza, obviously, but it's just what's being presented to us tonight isn't buildable. As it's showing me as it's a pedestrian plaza as far as I'm concerned. The design of it, it's not an improved street. So, as that's happening, as that street's being improved, does the neighboring property, we have to assume that neighboring property is staying exactly as is until we see something else.
Right.
So are the lines going to be restriped afterwards? There's so many questions that are popping up right now that I think would be solved if we saw the bigger picture of it. how is anybody going to park their car back there while this building is going up? So you're going to improve the street. Let's say we pave it in blacktop. How does anybody get to access that lot while that's being paved? And I understand that happens all the time in the city.
Mhm.
But is that an ongoing process? Is it a one-day thing? They come in, they pave the street, everybody can go park their car back there again?
I don't know, I don't know what the answer is there, but I don't know if we can, I don't know if you're asking us to bring the other project before the board with this project because of the fact that those are under contract.
I understand.
You know?
I understand. I'm not telling you to bring the other project in. I know it's not in front of us. But I feel like I'm looking at a half of a project right now.
Right.
That eventually will continue on the other side of that possible pedestrian plaza. So, I don't know how long we've been talking about this, but, two glaring problems jumped out at me on the first page that we've looked at. The crosswalk dumping right onto Central Ave is a big problem. The bollards that shouldn't exist on a drawing, and they're on every drawing. So I feel like this was drawn as a multi-phase project, and it shouldn't be presented to us like that. And it feels like it's missing something. And the Lot Street improvement is not making sense to me right now.
Understood. So, I understand what you're saying. Reading the tea leaves here. I guess we'll go take a step back, work with Matt, obviously change this, and then whether or not we come back and show it independently or see where we are with the other application. And I'll find out, there's other, closing dates and all that other stuff that I have to look into. And if I could maybe get this carried to the next available meeting, if that might be end of May, is that?
That's correct. It would be May 26th.
Yeah, and then that'll give us some time to do our homework and square this away.
I'm not telling you what we should see. Obviously, it's your application. But I'd just like to see an improved blacktop street back there that looks like any other street. And if we want to change it later to tie into another project that's on the other side of that street, it's very easy to put pavers down over blacktop or take the blacktop up. So.
No, understood. It's like I said, we decided to go with the fancy street and we painted ourselves into a corner.
I get it. What I think I'm seeing is going to look nice, but I'm not seeing it here. Understand?
Okay.
I don't know. That was probably a 10-minute word salad that would make any president happy, proud of me. So I don't think I can talk about it anymore and make any sense. So let's move to carry this to a date certain, May 26th, right, Cam?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Council.
Okay, thank you.
All right, it is 10:10. Let's move on. We have other items to carry still tonight.
Chairman, I received correspondence from Attorney Conlon regarding item 19 on the agenda, case P20-168, address 417-427 Hoboken Avenue for preliminary and final major site plan. They've requested to carry with preservation of notice to May 26th.
Okay, do we have anybody else that you spoke with, Cam?
No.
Okay, so Mr. Lean, good evening.
Good evening. I have items 20 and 22 Yeah, that's,
And 17.
and 17, yes, excuse
So
me.
let's start with 17.
26.
Yes. I'm going to be looking over towards Mr. Harrington because this is his client, so, for 597
17.
Merritt.
It's going to be a busy meeting. Okay, so we're going to carry case P2025-0068 to a date certain of May 26th with preservation of notice. Thank you, council.
I would request the same for item 20, P2024-0106, and the same for item 20, which is 22, which is P2025-0160. 20 and 22.
20 and
yes.
22.
Yes.
Cam?
Yes, council, that is acceptable. That meeting is now closed.
Yeah, I think we've carried enough to that meeting.
All right, just slid in there.
Slow down.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, thank you, council. Yes, correct. Item 20 and 22 are carried to the 26th. By the simple fact that everybody just walked out of the room, I think that filled up the rest of the agenda. Did
It
we
did.
miss anything that needed
No,
to
we
be
didn't.
carried?
No, Chairman.
Okay.
Chair, I
so
have 6
let's-
resolutions.
Perfect, thank you.
Resolution of Planning Board for the City of Jersey City. Applicant is 369-371 Wheaton Street LLC for 1-year extension of preliminary and final major site plan with C deviation. 369-371 Wheaton Street, Block 19001, Lot 8. Case numbers P2025-0252. Second resolution, applicant 455 Jewel Group LLC, minor subdivision approval, 455 3rd Street, 455, 452, 456 3rd Street, Block 10901, lots 117, 133, and 134. Case number is P2025-0101. Applicant is 455 Jewel Group LLC. Preliminary and final major site plan approval at C variances and design waiver, 455 3rd Street, 455, 452, 456 3rd Street, Block 10901, lots 117, 133, and 134. That case number is P2025-0102. Applicant, fourth resolution, applicant Rohit Shah and Jita Shah for minor site plan approval, 114 Lincoln Avenue, Jersey City. Case number is P2025-0025. Fifth resolution, case number is P2023-0100. Applicant is Usher Levy. Address is 99 Arlington Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey. Decided on Tuesday, January 27, 2026. Applicant for preliminary and major subdivision with C variances. Final is City of Jersey City Planning Board in the matter of 300 3rd Street LLC. Applicant case numbers P2025-0062, decided on March 10, 2026 for minor site plan approval.
Okay, do we have a second, please?
Second.
All right, Cam, could we have a roll call, please?
Acting Vice Chair Gongadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Wick.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato. Commissioner Kaplan.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel. And Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor to memorialize resolutions.
Okay, thank you, guys. Could I have 2 seconds for an executive session, please?